All right, welcome to FSM After Dark. I'm Joe Rigo, Kalani Lua, Rich the Christian, Richie Lupo, and joining us tonight, Nick Hamilton. Man, look, tonight's one of these nights where I crack a tall can open, got me a Corona, Kobe Day, Mamba Day, you know.
Yes, sir.
You
So
got that. You got that Snoop Corona, huh?
I love to do me, ooh wee.
The commercials got them.
Man, I was saving this one for the
Who'd you
Friday
think
show,
it
but
was?
I was saving it for Friday. You know what I mean? So, hey, check it out. So, like, I'm in a great mood, man. I'm in a great mood. Today the Lakers on a day where they rocked Kobe's, the Kobe inspired unis, which they should bring into rotation on a constant. Love the black unis. Nick's rocking one right now. I'm a little envious of that, bro. Um,
I got the blue one,
the,
homie. I got the.
oh,
I
it's,
got the
oh,
blue one.
oh, that's the blue one. Okay, my bad.
Those black ones are fat though.
They're fly. Hey, I'm gonna tell you.
Yo, that fly.
I
Yeah.
I thought I thought tonight they played with Kobe and Gigi, like really with that inspiration. They blew out. I mean, really from the get-go, the game was over in the first 5 minutes. I mean, and then now with Dame Lillard, he's getting an MRI on his knee. Man, I think this series is just about over. I'm gonna call it.
Yeah. I mean, with Dame going down with the knee injury, um, it limits your mobility. I mean, I don't care if it's even if it's like a light sprain or whatever. He can still function on it. It still limits his mobility, which limits his game to a degree, because he's not the full Dame Dollar that we've been accustomed to seeing the last several games. Um, so I think I said Lakers in 6, but yeah, it might be Lakers in 5 now.
Hey,
Um,
hey, real quick, we gotta say what's up to my guy Life. My guy Life checking in on Facebook, and my man Hub City Tay Dante Young, Hub City Bay Compton, stand up. Sorry, Nick.
no, that's all good. You got to do that, man. But the thing that pissed me off, Joe, and is the fact that I don't like shoe resellers, and I'm pissed off that the fact that the shoe game has been completely ruined. And I say that because this is Mamba Week. Obviously, Nike has released a different set of Kobe Bryant shoes, the Kobe 5 Pro Throws, that we haven't seen ever.
Right.
And there were a lot of people that wanted to buy shoes. I mean, I saw, people saying, "Hey, I want, I remember this one guy told me like he was trying to buy shoes for his kid because it was his kid's birthday, and he couldn't even get them because you had all these shoe resellers and these bots, taking all the shoes on where only a few fans could actually get a hold of them. But it was mostly like all these shoe resellers, and I was like, dude, as sucky as that is, Nike don't care. Nike, you paid your 180 or your 200 for your shoes. Whatever you do with them is your business. You want to
Nike is
resell them,
terrible with their
you want to
sneaker app.
donate them, they don't give a damn.
It's all about the dollar with these companies, man. Like you said, Nick. Hey, you spent your money on it. What you decide to do with it afterwards is on you. And it is unfortunate when they do something like this, like a re-release. It would be nice if they put a limit on how many each user can get. Maybe 2 pairs or whatever. That way, giving hopefully everyone a chance to go on there and get it. Especially now, kids are going back to school. Some parents are back at work. It's like, man, we all can be sitting there at the drop of the dime. As soon as you guys say, okay, this one's released, the very next, 30 seconds later, we're online clicking it. So it is unfortunate in that particular aspect, but hopefully, for as long as they're available, maybe, throughout the rest of the week or however long Nike's going to do it, hopefully folks can find a way to get on there and get the shoes that they like. Because I know I wouldn't mind getting. Hold on, man. The Lakers just won. They won big.
Oh, do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, bro,
Yeah.
put a shirt on, bro. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, can't say none of y'all watch, man. One of my favorite comedians is Boy Crack to the Machine. Big boy, this is how we roll up in here.
Pause.
Yeah.
Hey, Kalani said he said before we came on, he's like, damn, Joe, the Lakers start like that. The Lakers, I was gonna take my shirt off. I said, hold on, go ahead and keep doing that. Go ahead and keep doing that. I didn't think he was gonna do it.
Hey man,
Oh,
you tell me boss man might come in, so I better get it in now before he come in, and we got to go corporate.
Hey, I don't know. Squeeze about to come in, man. I know. I don't know. Squeeze.
Man. Thank God,
we've been
dude.
we've been going back and forth on social media. What you say, Nick?
Nah, I love you, bro. Yeah. It's 4 dudes for me, dog. You got to put a shirt on.
Hey, it's hot right now, brother. I'm in Las Vegas, brother. It's 104 degrees out here.
It's 4 dudes, bro.
We good. There might be some female watchers out there. We good. It's 101 degrees tonight, brother. I am bread. Well, don't worry about my blower. In fact, your mom's house.
Oh God! My chest problems are coming back.
Said, where's the bra?
If I die on TV, it's from a heart attack.
Nah, I'm probably gonna do the same. I don't like the nipple showing and whatnot.
Oh, hey, you got the pasties on. Hey, so no, but when I look at this game, man, like I know I said, and this was something that I had talked about, and I've said it was APB, anybody but Portland for the AC.
You,
man, honestly, I tell you what, I'm gladly mistaken. I'm glad to say I'm wrong. That man, man, I'm telling you, that was the one team that really scared me. I think Dallas is the second now, but after that, like, man, look, the way the Lakers are playing right now, I don't think there's a team that could beat them. I mean, they literally have gone.
Do you remember me calling Dallas on the last show as my sleeper team?
You did.
And they've come around. Listen, to me, Dallas is one of those. They're very young. They could go on a run. They obviously don't have that championship caliber behind them and all that. But I mean, with the coach they do. But with the rest of the team, no, the players. But to me, if they all click and they're all hot at the same time, whoo, that is a scary team because Boban's been playing out of his mind. Boban's looked good.
Yeah, he has been. Luka's Luka.
Luka's been ridiculous. I mean,
damn that. Look. We get to Luka a little bit later tonight. Right now, we're talking the Lakers. And what I enjoy is the fact that, yes, Portland was a team that we felt threatened by. You look at Damian Lillard, McCollum, Melo. You just look at how that team was playing. It certainly looked like, man, with the way we're playing and the way they're playing, this don't look like it's going to go good. And in game one, but you know what ended up happening? They poked the bear. The bear woke up and said, oh, you guys think you're actually better than us. And we're waking up. And once that happened, you see what happened. LeBron, I know he had 10 points in game 2, but you see what he's done since then, and even in game 1. AD's had his moments and whatnot, but at the same time, he's gone out there and done his thing, and we're starting to see other guys like Danny Green go out there and do their thing as well. So, it's one of those things where I think the Lakers just realized we're a better team. We need to start acting like it because this is playoff basketball, and it's a matchup. There's no excuses. Yeah, it's one thing if you're playing a back-to-back or, oh, man, we played a really fast team this week, and then the next one we're playing a team that's more inside the paint, than the next one we're playing a team that's threes. Okay, you could get caught off guard with different matchups throughout the season. But in the postseason, one team, it's one of those where you got to say, okay, we got to figure out ways to shut them down and make it more difficult, and that's what they're doing here, which is awesome. So I'm glad to see that the Lakers are picking it up and showing faith. Going forward, it's obviously going to get much harder, but as of right now, the Lakers certainly look like one of the better teams in both conferences, which should be the case.
Well, look,
I was going to say really quick, I think that and the fact of that your guys like Kyle Kuzma and KCP are showing up in the right times. Let's say that. They're hitting good shots in the right times.
I think you're right, Rich. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that goes back to what I was getting at the last time we talked about these teams that I feel like you got to have these strong other role players, these strong benches and this and that. And if all these guys are showing up the way they are, yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to beat them.
the way I look at it, like when it comes to Kuzma, KCP, Danny Green, J.R. Smith, Deion Waiters, they're starting now to hit their stride. Like if you look at it, like Green's still not that guy that's knocking down what we seen last year on that play with that playoff run in Toronto. At the same time, you see him starting to get into a groove. You're seeing them get into a groove. You're seeing them get into some other types of grooves, offensively. They weren't a great three-point shooting team at all in the regular season either. So, I mean, but they shot 48% from the field overall. So the Lakers, they can knock down shots. But I think what you're seeing is what we talked about on Thursday, barbecue chicken. They're running the offense through the low post. They're running it through LeBron, through AD, and they're using their size advantage that they have over every team in the NBA right now in the playoffs. I mean, look, Nurkic isn't a bad center. I mean, he's a damn good center, and he has some good games. But tonight he got abused a little bit. Whiteside has been getting abused all series long. He wants to get home to Ashley right away. So I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you look at what the Lakers have done. I think Kalani hit the nail on the head. Portland woke him up after game 1, and they're like, all right, look, no fun in games. Let's go out there and kick everybody's ass. We have a job to do. And look, if you look at what the Lakers have done through adversity after game 1, and then even last game on Saturday where they fell behind in the first quarter, really halfway through the second quarter, and it was somewhat of a close game to the third quarter. The Lakers have overcome adversity, stay true to who they are, their identity. The Clippers, on the other hand, didn't do any of that. The Clippers, on the other hand, have wilted under pressure, and the Clippers, Nick knows this, Clippers gonna clip, and that's exactly what the Clippers have done.
Pandemic P.
Exactly. The Clippers, I call them PG 3 for 13. Because I mean, shit. I mean,
a little different though. One thing in the postseason you guys got to take into account: matchups, man, matchups, and sometimes. You might be better than a team, but the matchup might just not be in your favor. How many years do we see the Spurs struggle with a team that was a fast-paced team when they got older? The Spurs were a better team, but the team that was faster gave them fit. So I think with the way the Mavericks are playing, let's be honest, they're good players, but come on now, Seth Curry and Tim Hardaway Jr. were two guys you were not talking about going into this particular series.
Seth Curry's going off.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you knew he could hit threes, but now, dude, you almost looking like, oh, did he realize he's Steph's brother by now? Dang.
Which Curry
it's one of those things, too. And then also, like, we know he's good, but you didn't know what to expect from Luka going into his first postseason. You really didn't know. So the fact that you're seeing it on display and he's kind of shrugging his shoulders like, yeah, dude, this is what I do.
He was flipping. Did you see him flipping the water bottle in the timeout in overtime? He's like, I ain't worried about Kawhi Leonard.
but that's the thing. I agree, but that's the thing, Kalani. Like when you look at what he did, like Kawhi is on him, and they're switching to Reggie Jackson, who I think I could score on Reggie Jackson right now.
That's part of their defensive strategy. They always switch. They always switch. They're overconfident in their defense. They always switch, though.
Yeah, but they always switch.
And he's still putting 30, 40 a game up on them, though.
He's killing them. And so where is this loaded thing? Oh, the Paul George and Kawhi and Pat. I think their problem, and I talked to a couple people today, but none of them are like with the team. Yeah, no, I did because I was talking about the Clippers, and he's one of my best friends, and he's a construction worker, but he knows ball, and he said, Joe, think about this: the Clippers really don't have a big man. It's Zubats and Harrell, and
Harrell's what, 6'9", 6'8"?
Exactly. Where you look at he's as tall as Luka.
Yeah. Yeah, and Harrell isn't in shape yet because he missed those the training camp and the 8 games for the season. So no, that's true. It's one of those things where It's also your own stubbornness could be your downfall. Same thing with Mike D'Antoni. I'm not going to switch my offense. We run where we run, so you're not even going to try on defense. We run where we run offensively. Okay, look what's happened. The same thing is going on now with the Clippers and Doc Rivers. We're going to switch every time. Even when a two-time defensive player of the year says, I got him. No. Oh, we switch. What? And if I'm not mistaken, isn't that Coach Doc Rivers? The famed Coach Doc Rivers, the great almighty Doc Rivers?
No. It's Dick Rivers, according to Lord Pincus.
I think something Kalani said earlier, though, that actually I was going to bring up is I think Portland moved away from trying to shoot more on the outside and tried to move the ball more in, where they shot a lot from the outside in the first game, I feel like. And the matchup thing. I feel like you guys might be better against a team like Milwaukee than a shooting team. Like if you get somebody else that's just a straight shooter and they're on the outside, I feel like you could bully ball inside more than a team that thinks they're big.
Well, I mean, look at how the Lakers played the Warriors the last 2 years, and they've had a winning record. This year the Warriors, have the number 2 overall pick. The record speaks for itself.
Scary.
But last year, they weren't a bad team. I mean, they were a really good team last year, and I mean they went to the finals for Christ's sake. Damn near won the whole thing. And the Lakers, I think they either split the series or won the series against the Warriors. That's a small ball team in a lot of ways. The Lakers are kind of like built themselves to beat those teams. I think the biggest thing I've seen with the Lakers was their defense has gotten a hell of a lot better since game 1. They're doing a really good job. They're doing a good job on Lillard. And I hope he's not seriously hurt. When it comes to he's one of my 3 favorite people to watch in the NBA. And I hope to God that it's not like an ACL or something that he misses the game. Because if he misses the game, there's no doubt in my mind that it's over. It's going to be
that's done.
It's going to be over with at halftime, a lot like tonight's game. But Nick brought up a good point when he was on before he had some internet issues. It's a knee and it's going to hinder you a little bit. No matter what, it's going to hinder you. You don't have you can't rest for a couple days, man. You're back. You get 24 hours, 48 hours rest, and you're back on the court. Plus, he's dealing with that dislocated finger, which he said gives him discomfort when he's transferring the ball from dribbling or trying to pull up. So he's dealing with some shit, and you got to feel for Dame Lillard a little bit. But overall, man, look,
I gotta wonder. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Well, I'll say overall, it's Mamba Day, and I felt like when I screenshotted it and tweeted it out, when there was a timeout, it was 24-8. Like literally that was a score, and there was a timeout. AD was going to go to the free throw line, and I took a picture of that. And like, not to be a downer, really since Saturday night on, I've kind of, I mean, everybody knows that my son passed away in late June, and dealing with the Kobe loss was something I was dealing. Like, it's hard to watch old clips of him or hear his voice. For those of us that kind of knew him, a little bit and had a friendship,
it's everywhere.
And so when you hear all that stuff, right, it kind of like starts to get to you. And today, like, this game right here meant a lot to me, just on a personal level, because of him, and may have been because, I've been a little more emotional than I normally am, but for them to come out and play like they did tonight, that one meant this one means the world to me. And it's not a championship, but it means the world to me.
And I mean, that's well said, man. Seriously, that's well said. Very sorry. Everyone's dealing with tough stuff going on right now, but what you went through, Joe, no parent should ever have to go through that, man. So I feel for you, brother. And, really, I think if you're a Lakers fan to a basketball fan, a day like this was tough just because, it's one thing if somebody passes away years down the road, like when it's in a reasonable age, like if he was, excuse me, he was 76, 81, 99. We get that. Like, okay, brother, still kind of early, but we got it. 41? Like, dude, we just saw you a few years ago. Like, we don't even need to see the replay of the game because we still remember it fresh in our mind. So to have that on our mind, and then again to have it in a moment where everything's not back to normal yet, a lot of us are still stuck in the house or limited in what we can do. Everything's not on TV yet, so a lot of stuff is just floating around in your mind. And then to know that the Lakers are trying to go out there, do this for Kobe, doing it in the manner in which they can, wearing the jerseys and whatnot. Birthday yesterday, Mama Day today. It was just, it was a collaboration. And I like that they focused and came out right from the get-go. They weren't flat or nothing like that. They were focused. And I agree with you. For someone like Dame Lillard, I hope it's nothing serious because not just for the remaining game or two, but even going into next season because the off season for them is going to be a lot shorter. Definitely hope that it's nothing too serious. But I would also say, for someone like Dame and really any other player, if you're compromised that much, there also needs to be something said about you needing to know how to adjust and change it up if you have to. If you guys remember some years back when Mike D'Antoni was the coach of the Lakers, the last, I want to say maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 games, Kobe became more of a point guard / facilitator for the Lakers. He was only averaging like 15, 16 points, but he was averaging like 11, 12 assists. Yep. He was getting rebounds. They were winning. If you're compromised by injury, and at this stage in the point, a lot of teams are, you as a superstar, you got to know, okay, maybe I can't jack up these threes from a different area code. I got to figure out other ways to help my team. Maybe I could be a distraction out here. The defense is going to focus on me, but by doing that, I become a facilitator. I'm setting other guys up and whatnot. That way they could get going. Because we know what McCollum could do, Melo could do, Nurkic. Gary Trent Jr. is out there doing his thing. Whiteside's blocking shots here and there. So guys on the team are stepping up. Lillard, as much as I love him, he's got to realize that if he can't get it done like Dame time, he's got to figure out other ways he can be effective that can help the team. Otherwise, he's doing more damage than good.
What you got, Richie?
I was actually going to say, somebody asked me about this a while ago when the whole Kobe thing happened. And they said, why is the Kobe thing so big? And my easiest explanation that I saw was you never saw in modern sports history somebody that, to me, that great, go that young out of their career. Normally, it was like Kalani was saying, normally it's 70, 80, not 41. I mean, it's crazy, though. It's absolutely crazy. And it's sad. And that's why I think it hit everybody so hard, was because you saw what he was doing with his daughter, what he was doing for the WNBA, which is one of the biggest things, which I love the Phoenix Suns for trolling that guy. He was a huge Kobe fan. He was shitting on WNBA. And they were like, if you're really a Kobe fan, you would not be shitting on the WNBA. Shut your mouth, which is true. And that's the other sad part with Gigi. Seeing her, that she might have been what he did, but in the NBA, she might have been the greatest WNBA player ever.
You know what's crazy about that, Rich, is in December, I was in Fresno, and Jaleesa and I were talking about the WNBA, because everybody that knows me, I'm very proud of Jaleesa's basketball accomplishment. She played college ball. I'm lucky to be able to talk ball with her, sports with her in general.
That's nice.
And I told her straight up, I was like, look, I think the WNBA is waiting for the next, 8 years or so, 8 or 9 years when Gigi is, because Gigi is going to be the new logo of the WNBA. She's going to be she's going to do what Jordan did. I know Kalani doesn't like that, but she's going to elevate it to a global status. The WNBA to a global status. Like, she's the future of that league. And it was less than a month later, was it 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, everything happened. And, for me, when it comes to Kobe, and if you're from Cali, Southern California, I think, or in general, I think you're going to understand what I'm about to say. LA has this persona. Like New York is gritty, street, like don't take no shit from anybody, from no one. Where California is like, pretty boys, Hollywood. Okay, so Kobe embodied the Hollywood aspect. I mean, look at the flair, the sense of drama when he was shooting shots and hitting big shots. And
didn't he win some like big award for doing something on TV?
But that's when he was done. But I'm talking about on the court. Like he had a flair for the dramatic. He knew the moments. He knew how to build it up. Knew when the camera's on him, you seen the Mamba face, and you've seen how finesse his game was. But then Kobe, that was the side that everybody portrays Hollywood and LA to be. They don't see the sides of the guys that are grips of movie theaters, or the guys working down in San Pedro on the docks, or the guys in the hood that's up in the morning delivering papers, or dudes that are hustling for their families. That was Kobe. So Kobe literally embodied everything that is Los Angeles, everything. And that's why, besides just growing up from a 17-year-old to a 41-year-old, to be going from a boy to a man and being there for all the trials and tribulations and the ups and downs of his life, we all went through it with him. We all went through it together, because a lot of us are in the same age group, and we were going through a lot of the same shit. But Kobe pretty much embodied everything LA was. And I think that's why people in Los Angeles and people in LA and Laker fans in particular really appreciate what Kobe is. And even basketball fans that really know how the city works and the city moves, I think they really appreciate that about Kobe as well. So for me, all the personal stuff aside, he was absolutely the most iconic Laker ever to me.
I would agree with that. And I would also say, you talk about the embody the LA thing. Now I'm from New York. I only know LA, what I've seen in movies, TV, talk to all my friends that have lived there, because I have a ton of friends that are from there. I have a friend that lives there currently, all that kind of stuff. To me, you talk about that, the kindness, but that work hard, killer mentality. That was Kobe, the nicest guy in the world off the court. All the videos you see of what he used to do for people, and then that just straight assassin the minute he put those shoes on and grabbed that ball. And, let that purple and gold fly.
I miss him. I ain't gonna lie, I miss him.
I'm just very appreciative.
No doubt,
I got to watch his whole career.
Yeah. It's Hollywood. It's glitz and glamour. But it's one thing all those entertainers all know all too well. All the work that goes behind the scenes. Yeah, I'm Beyonce. I'm a talented singer and I could dance. Y'all don't know how many hours I put into coming up with the song, the outfits, the routine, how much I do it. I mean, I understand that the scene might be one thing, but in the movie Hustlers that J-Lo did, they're exotic dancers, strippers. She does a strip dance scene right on the pole. The scene is no longer 45 seconds, less than 2 minutes, right? She trained 2 months for that because she wanted to make sure that when she does it correctly. Now, don't get me wrong, I am thankful that she did, but that's the type of mindset people have. You look at Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale, what they sacrifice, David Lewis, what they sacrifice their bodies for a particular role. That mindset is what Kobe had. That no matter what, no one's going to outwork me. No one. You might be better. You might be more skilled than me. You might be better at doing this. Overall, you're not going to outwork me. And because you're not going to outwork me, you're not going to be better than me. Just like Jay Will said, when he went to the Staples Center to shoot, yep. Kobe's already in there doing game moves in a sweat. And then while Jay does his workout, Kobe works out. Kobe worked out another 40 minutes. And then they dropped 40 on him. So why'd you do that? Because I wanted you to know, no matter how hard you work, I'm going to work harder. That is also why he was so loved and embraced. Because, as you said, Joe, the idea of what Hollywood and LA is, yeah, that's on the outside. But everyone on the inside knows what really goes on there. And by Kobe doing that, everyone else was like, that's our guy right there. And it's real funny because if you guys remember in the early 2000s, Kobe wasn't the most popular Laker. It was another really tall, bigger, more big personality guy that everyone favored. But as time went on, we all grew to love Kobe, and it was awesome for them to do what they did today in honoring him. But it was even more awesome for them out there and smack that ass, smack that ass, smack that ass, smack that ass.
You know, it's funny you bring that up about Shaq, right? And those of us that covered him kind of seen how Kobe was. Kobe, as Shaq has this huge personality, a lot of the older guys just kind of gravitated him. Kobe would be the one kind of in the corner chilling. Kobe was kind of like almost a little introverted in a lot of ways until he got to know you. Early in his career, not early, but in the 2000s when I got to know him a little bit, and I got to know him pretty well, that's when our relationship kind of blossomed because I was new to the beat, and I kind of kept things quiet. Like I wasn't gonna report things that, again, like kind of like with franchise. I don't care what you do in your personal life. I don't care. I care about what you're doing on the court and what you're doing to prepare. The stories, the game, what you do for the game, not what you do out. I'm not TMZ. And Howard Beck actually wrote a really dope piece the day after Kobe died. It's on Bleacher Report. If you can go back and look and try to find it and look at it, he talks about his experiences with young Kobe and how after the second championship, everybody's partying and Shaq's, they're singing DMX party going on up in here. And Shaq's leading everybody. And Kobe is actually at his locker chilling out, literally chilling out by himself in deep thought. Like that's Kobe. He's already like preparing for the next season. That's Kobe.
That's only because they didn't have iPads yet, and he couldn't be looking at game film.
They had iPods, but I remember I remember when that was the big
60
thing.
songs,
bro. That was the thing. Like Shaq, I remember they were going to Denver, and he said, and he had this thing, and we're like, "What, Shaq? What the hell is that?" He's like, This is all my music's on here. It's an iPod. Apple makes them. This is the shit. You need to get one. They're really good at it. They're really good at putting music on here. I don't got to carry a CD player anymore. And it's like, damn, really? That's the first time I ever had seen it. And they were like this, and looking like that big, kind of like
the other thing though that you talk about Kobe though, about him being very quiet. I take a lot of that as the dude, obviously, as we all know, was one of the most intelligent men if not the most intelligent man in every room he walked into.
One of them. Absolutely.
He was a sponge. And people that speak, you're not listening then. So Kobe didn't have to talk a lot in the beginning of his career. He was learning. It wasn't until the end of his career where he started talking, where he was starting to teach the young guys. And that was one thing I really liked about Kobe, is that he passed down the knowledge. He didn't hold it to himself. He gave it to
some people.
Hey, Jordan helped him out. Don't.
Hey, we're not. No.
There's plenty of interviews of Kobe touting Jordan about the help. So hold on.
No, it's not. It was the same mindset. So Kobe did that Jedi mind trick where he knew what he was thinking, because he was thinking he couldn't share a damn thing with anybody.
Well, anyway, like I was saying, he passed it down to a bunch of guys, and it wasn't even just Lakers guys. It was dudes on all teams, guys he liked, and challenge dudes. I mean, the whole thing with Giannis, he said, "What's my next challenge?" He said MVP, and he won the MVP. And that just goes to show you, though, too, of how much guys respected him. I remember, funny enough, because you guys know I liked him, but Tatum, the first time Kobe did that detail on Tatum said he must have watched it 100 and something times that first night, just kept going over it and over it and over it. And then when he actually got to play with him, or get coached by him, you saw a totally different Tatum the next year too. And since then, he has just been unreal. Actually,
Tatum worked out them this past offseason as well. Like Tatum was one of Kobe's guys that he would go work with him. Giannis is another one. Kobe didn't discriminate no matter what team. He knew the good guys though. If you were betting in players' stock and Kobe trained them or talked to them, you bet on that guy. Their stock just went very high once he talked to them. So go ahead, Kalani.
In the offseason, Kobe would have became what Akeem Olajuwon has kind of become for a lot of the for some of the big men and some of the star guys who say, "I want to work on my footwork," yet we never see it ever materialize. Kobe would have been that, like you said, Giannis, Devin Booker was another guy.
Yep.
Tatum, Damian
Kyrie.
Lillard to an extent. Kyrie, Miles Plumlee just talked about it for the Nuggets, how he was working out with him at Lower Merion and was learning some stuff. Kobe would have been that guy to where we would have heard of, like you said, of certain players, not all, but certain players who would have been learning stuff from him. And we saw with Tatum, Giannis, and Booker, I think with him, because it's not just what you're doing on the court, but your mental approach to it and the fact of he did it on the court and how much he was respected, I think we would have saw quite a few guys really elevate year by year by year going forward. Had that been the case and whatnot. So, it's we say he's missed. And it's not just about basketball, because obviously he was retired. It's a whole. It's so much more to it, man. He truly was somebody that was special for the game, and he didn't wait almost 30 years after he retired to try to give back.
And both sides of the game too, men's and women's. He did stuff for both sides of the game. He was helping with the women's players too.
Diana Taurasi,
Sabrina, right?
Man, hey, Sabrina is a
Go
Stone
Liberty.
Cold killer. Hey, she's a man.
The one good basketball team in New York, baby. Yeah. That is my New York basketball team, is the Liberty, dude.
Man, I low-key had a crush on Diana Taurasi when she was at UConn, man. That girl. Hey, look, it ain't even got to be a physical thing. The way she ball, hey, look, I don't even look at her no chick. That's a baller right there, son.
He said, I'll take a charge. Go ahead.
So Diana Taurasi grew up like 15 minutes from where I grew up, and she's a couple years younger than me. She played with my homegirl, Kate Humphrey's sister. They went to high school together at Don Lugo. And we went out one night. I went bowling in Upland, and Diana was there. She was a part of that group. She was cool. She was, you could tell like she was all about ball. She was hella competitive. I thought that was cool. It was the one time I met her. But she was still she's like a high school senior, and she was already wearing UConn gear. And Diana Taurasi is a real one. UNESCO. She can call, but I'm gonna tell you the worst thing that I did when it came to Kobe after his death. I'm gonna tell you. Someone released, or when the coroner released the autopsy report, I read it, and I wish I didn't. It crushed. It brought back every emotion I had at that point about his death, and just to see it was heartbreaking. I mean, just to read it, and I did it because I felt like I had to at least if it came up to talk about it. And I told Jaleesa, I'm like, I shouldn't have read that. Like I was really fucked up for the rest of the day.
It's tough, man. It's tough. That's one of our heroes, man. Somebody we all grew up with. And for you, Joe, you being able to meet him, get to know him a little bit on a personal level, to somewhat call him a friend and whatnot. It's that stuff is home, man. He passed away, and again. It's one of those things you just didn't expect. It's not like he was sickly. Nothing. You never expected, but it's not like you knew he was sick or whatever. Like, oh, Kobe got pneumonia 2 weeks ago and he passed. It's like, nah, man, he just woke up making some eggs and, oh, shit. What?
Yeah. Like, you talk about crazy. I will never forget, I'm sure as everybody else will never forget, I was actually laying down. I took a nap and my roommate ran upstairs and woke me up to that. And I swear, dude, I thought it was a bad dream, man. I really did. I woke up and I was like, wake up again. Just wake up again. Maybe tomorrow. And
I woke up. I already had woke up, and it was about 9 o'clock. And I think it happened at like 9:30, 9:45, something like that. And it was a Sunday, and I was literally waiting. I was going to hop in the shower because I had to go cover UNLV San Diego State. And I got some NBA people that I know texting me, and I'm like, what the hell? My phone's ringing, and I hear about it. I'm like, and then I go on Twitter, and I'm like, no. Ironically, Nick calls me, Nick Hamilton. I'm like, Nick, and he was like, bro, I'm working. I already had 2 people verify. I'm waiting on the third. And I got to call you back. I called Jaleesa. I'm a mess. And literally, I get off the phone with her. My son, Joey, calls me. And he was like, Dad, are you okay? like the first, like Peanut, I would have kind of, I did not expect Joey to call me about that, and it looking back, it means the world to me. But I was like, oh my god, like I'm like, yeah. Then my phone started ringing and everybody started calling me. And then honestly, I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't when Woj put it out there, but when TMZ put it out there, because TMZ doesn't put stuff like that out there. If at all, they can be wrong. I mean, they're 100% accurate on all of that. And at first, I was just hoping and praying it was just an internet rumor, a hoax. Kind of look like how Kalani look right now, like that. Like no, but tears are streaming down my eyes. And yeah, and Pinnicus is right. Maybe Brown would still have a job if they did let Ben Simmons go work out with Kobe.
Yeah, he'd have had a fadeaway at least.
Something.
Or at least he would have known to stay away from, them people.
I didn't like Brett Brown's system anyway. None of the pieces worked. Any of that. And personally, I think they're going to actually, I mean, a lot of people probably think this as well, but they're going to blow that team up real quick.
They should.
You're paying guys a lot of money.
My question is, was he wrong for not?
Repeat that.
Was he wrong for not changing his system to the players he had, or was the team wrong for not getting players who fit the system? Like it's an interesting debate on how to do it, but It's almost like, hey man, if you hire Phil Jackson, I want guys who can play in the triangle. I'm not going to get guys who can't play in the triangle. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
yes, I think where they really fucked up was when they drafted Fultz over Tatum. Tatum was the best player in that draft. No,
I don't know how anybody didn't see that, man.
They traded up for him. Like that's the part that is funky about it. It's like, bro.
Yeah, the Celtics still knew they were getting him as well. They still knew they were getting him.
And they knew the Lakers were going to take Ball since he was the local kid.
But, Tatum couldn't shoot. Tatum couldn't shoot over Fultz, though. That's hysterical.
Now, I will say this, okay, because it's one of my things. I don't know how you guys feel. I'm a believer in be wary of taking people from a program who historically players have not worked out from there. They've been great, but you got to admit, there's not a lot of Blue Devils who go to the NBA and really shake it up, like Grant Hill and like a couple of others.
Kyrie.
So for like Tatum, I'm not going to lie. I was like, yo, this young man, I hope he turns out good, but I'm worried about that Blue Devil curse. So
I agree.
You almost look at it and say, well, we got the local kid. He's got all the hype. He could turn out to be something at the point guard position. Whereas Tatum, man, what if he turns out to be another this guy, another Corey Maggette, another Luol Deng. Luol Deng was good. Don't get me wrong. But he didn't live up to being
Corey was good.
So
I thought Corey was good.
Yeah, but Tatum.
Corey Maggette was okay, but I mean, he wasn't nothing special. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do nothing fantastic throughout his career besides that killer biceps. Nothing like these, though.
Yeah, but as Philly, till this day, you got to be kicking yourself in the ass about how that Markelle Fultz thing worked out, knowing you could have had at least one really good shooter on your team, a guy that could make his own shot.
I don't even know where the hell he came from. That felt like the Anthony Bennett one, where it was a name, and you're just like, wait, who? Who?
UNLV Anthony Bennett.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I that was just a bad draft though too. Yeah, but the Tatum one, I like Tatum. I don't like Duke players traditionally. I really don't. And because of that, because a lot of those guys are hyped up and then they're end up being real shitty. That's why. But see, I wasn't a big ball guy coming out either. Like, honestly, like there was too many questions, and I wasn't a big ball guy in full disclosure, because of LeVar Ball. Like that would be if I'm an NBA team and with Melo coming out, I'm telling you, I would be very leery if I'm like the Knicks trying to trade up for him to get him in a big market. I think you've seen LeVar kind of fall off after Lonzo went to New Orleans. And I think if you get, let's say Cleveland at 5 takes Melo, or someone trades up with the Warriors at 2, let's say it's a smaller market team and they get Melo at at number 2 overall. I could kind of see that, but if I'm New York, if I'm Chicago, hell, if I'm even Charlotte, I mean, in a way, if I'm Charlotte, I'm Jordan, I would take him just so I could play his dad one-on-one, record it, and release that shit and sell it to ESPN for a 30 for 30.
Jordan would take LaMelo, and then they just keep doing the meme where he's like, "Yeah, LeVar said some shit. I took it personal, so I drafted his son. I sat him on the bench." He would too. But no, do you hear the rumors about the whole Detroit thing? Detroit was looking to make a whole bunch of deals to try and move around. Excuse me, get LaMelo and get Lonzo and pair them up. But to me, that's just a money grab thing because they're going after, which I love to death, J. Cole, and I think he's a decent player, but I don't know about NBA player. And they were trying to give him a tryout. They're just going after hey, look at us, buy some jerseys. We need money.
Hey, man, you know what? I mean, I get what you're saying, Joe. I do get where you're coming from. But I feel like this with Lonzo, and I feel like this with Melo. I mean, if you can play, you can play. If your daddy saying a few extra words and, there's going to be a target on his back. There's already going to be a target on your back, bro. It's the NBA. You watch the playoffs here. There's a target on everybody's back. If you're on the court, we coming after you. Now, you could be a star player like James Harden, who everyone goes after because he doesn't play defense, or whatever. We coming after you.
Yeah, but hold on, Kalani. The only difference is when you got to answer questions after a game about how your dad told people you were better than Steph Curry.
We've seen enough post-game interviews. Mena's going to ask a bunch of stupid questions anyways. So, I heard you like to eat cheeseburgers before games.
That's not a stupid question.
It's one that gets in your head, bro, because now people are thinking you got to shoot.
It is a stupid question, and not just that one in particular, but it's a bunch of stuff. We've heard plenty of dumb questions asked from the media. Hell, we've even heard when a player says, I do not know what I'm going to do at the end of the year. What's the first question after every single game? Do you know what you're going to do? Come on, man. Even if you say, God, don't ask me. I won't answer until June.
Those questions are coming, though.
That's the first question that you ask. So there's a bunch of stupid questions. If you can't handle that, are you really good enough for the NBA? We just talked about Kobe. Did Kobe answer any questions about him?
No, but Kobe did. There was questions early on about Jelly Bean and their relationship and whatnot. And Kobe did have to answer those. But
how did it work out?
No, but
you can call. If you can call, you can call.
But it's not because his
level.
Kobe's dad didn't come strutting onto multiple networks and was like, "My son's the greatest to ever play, and he's never played in the NBA."
Not even that.
They didn't have networks back then. They didn't have networks in 1996.
Yes, they did. ESPN was around. Fox Sports wasn't.
They did not have First Take back then. They did not have Undisputed, and they did not have networks for debate shows where they had people coming on. Stop it, Joe. They did not have.
No, I'm not talking about debate, but they had networks. Is my point, and they had inside. They had insiders like Stephen A. Smith and David Aldridge, and then
they weren't going after ratings back then like they are now with the way that they're going about it. Back then, more so like we're going to go after ratings. But they didn't do all this.
But I think you're going to. My point I want to make is you also didn't have Father going on nationally syndicated sports talk shows talking about the coach, talking about the coach of the team and how he's going to get fired and how he's not a good coach. And but that's the point. Now that's bringing unnecessary criticism and unnecessary questions and unnecessary pressure on his son because his son's the one that has to answer those. No, it's not fair to the player.
You're going to get those regardless.
But you ain't going to get those questions from your teammates, though.
Exactly. The teammates exactly.
Look, first off, if I'm coming to your team and you guys suck, last thing y'all need to be worried about is what my daddy's saying. What y'all need to be worried about, let's just say, if he went to the Knicks, I got to worry about what fucking Mitchell Robinson or R.J. Barrett or Langston Gallows has to say? Hell no. Barrett, you might be somebody one day. Mitchell, you pretty good, but y'all suck. Y'all need not to be worrying about what my daddy's saying. Y'all need to be about what we doing on the court. If I go to Charlotte if I go to Detroit, Who do I need to worry? Who do I need to answer to that? I'm not going to a championship level team. Who do I need to be worried about here? We just saw Jimmy Butler not fit in with Philadelphia and Minnesota. Why? Because the young guys there were more worried about social media and, oh, you're not nice to us and we're not buddies and you're not liking my Instagram post. Where's he at? Where are they at? So at the end of the day,
he's in the playoffs.
And what you saying?
He's advancing in the playoffs. Philadelphia just fired their coach, and Minnesota's got the number 1 overall pick. Jimmy was right because Jimmy didn't want the bullshit around. Jimmy, exactly. Hold on, Kalani. Jimmy didn't want the bullshit around him, while LeVar continued to put the bullshit in front of Lonzo and would skirt away while Lonzo was the one to face the music for his dad's sins, his dad's behavior. Let's be real. LeVar Ball didn't look at. I'm good. How can I praise him if he's doing what a father's supposed to do, which is support his sons and be there? And that's your job. Okay. I commend you for that. I'll praise you for that. Okay. That's what we're all supposed to do as fathers. But on the flip side of it, you're pimping your son out. You're pimping all 3 of them out. And you're the one you're the one making the money from them. You're the one that's giving them their fun.
All the parents.
No. I know a lot that have never.
The Watt family, their parents pimped out all their boys to go to the NFL. The Gronkowski family, they pimped out all their sons to go to the NFL. The same damn thing. The Manning family, he did the same with his 2 boys. It would have been 3, but the other one got hurt. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Let's be honest, Kalani. We all know what LeVar is. LeVar is a very smart man, but he's an actor. He is an actor. So point being is whether they got to deal with these problems or not, their father is creating unneeded issues. And that's the point. It's not whether they got to deal with it or not. We know what they got to deal with. It's the fact that if he wasn't running his mouth, they wouldn't have to answer those 4 extra questions that they got to answer at the end of the interview.
If he wasn't running his mouth, Lonzo might have been the 15th overall pick.
And you're right about that. He might have been a later pick. He might have been a later pick. I'll agree with you.
You can't say not true. We'll never know because it didn't happen. So we'll never know.
But you can't say that because he ran his mouth, he was the number 2 pick. I can tell you this. I can tell you this with all honesty, knowing people in that building at that time, LeVar Ball had nothing to do with the pick. 0. It had to do with the basketball people wanting Tatum, but the marketing people, because of the fear that no free agents were going there, wanted the local kid, and they went out over the basketball people, and that was part of the problem. But LeVar Ball had absolutely did.
They know about the local kid.
Bro,
how do they know about the local kid?
Okay,
Lonzo Ball wasn't praised throughout the entire season as being one of the best players in college basketball. He was very good, but nobody in midway through the season was saying, "Hey, this guy might challenge to be a top 3 pick." He was good, but we didn't. It wasn't
out of high school. They're talking about him being a top 5 pick.
But there was nobody in that draft that was like, "Oh my god!" Either.
What you can do at the next level. Okay, it's what you do at the next
level. All that's projection.
That's at the end of the day. If you can ball, you can ball. Okay, like plain and simple. If you can play ball, you can play ball. You can be quiet, like Kawhi Leonard, and ball. You can be loud and obnoxious or funny style like Shaq. If you can ball, you can ball. We just saw a guy tell us that he made up that some guy no one's ever heard of on the Bullets trash talked him so he could get up for the next game and went out there and did his thing. If you can play in this league, you can play in this league. If being asked questions is going to deter you from being the superstar you're going to be, then you weren't meant to be here. Just to find out if breaking you through anything is too much, then you didn't have much of a dream anyways.
But that's okay. That's where I think you're misconstruing what I'm saying.
I'm
asking, having them ask the questions isn't going to define whether or not Lonzo was going to be a superstar or not. That comes down to your play. But what it does, though, is you become a journeyman because your daddy keeps running his mouth and teams aren't going to want to deal with it. You're going to lose marketing deals because of it, which he did. Let's be real. He lost deals because of his father.
And deals because his play wasn't living up to the hype.
No, I'm talking about coming into the league. And look, and to answer your question about him coming out of high school, they thought he'd be a top 5 pick. He was projected as 6'6", 6'7" point guard. And a high school national championship, McDonald's All-American. He was okay. So then he goes to UCLA. And he torches Kentucky. He torches De'Aaron Fox. And on national television, and then he gets into the tournament and he has good games. Now the buildup is there, and then Daddy jumps on the bus and Daddy starts running his mouth. That's the problem. He brought those other families. You're right, the Watt family, the Gronkowski family, the Manning family. But guess what they didn't do other than not wanting to go to San Diego? The parents took the step back. They're in the background, and the players are the ones at the forefront.
Oh, we gonna sweep that underneath the rug as if that wasn't a big deal.
I'm not sweeping under the rug. I thought it was
draft of all the sports, which is the NFL. We're gonna sweep under the rug that this family manipulated the draft by saying, "My son ain't going here, and if y'all draft him, well, we sit down." And that was big time news. We gonna sweep that under the rug and whatnot, as if, that happened, but whatever. Hey, look, if Lonzo was doing his thing with the Lakers, I like Lonzo, I do, and I hope he finds his niche. But if he was doing this thing with the Lakers, it probably would have been a lot harder to want to give him up. They probably would have said, how about we give up Ingram and Kuzma instead and we keep our point guard? He was too inconsistent and he was injury prone with us. And now we've seen with the Pelicans in this bubble, he struggled. Beforehand, I feel like the last 5-15 games, he did good. But he's been struggling with them. You become a journeyman when you are no longer productive. Melo didn't start becoming a journeyman until guess what? He wasn't as productive as what his salary was costing. Okay, now before all that, we'll take it. Allen Iverson, we'll take the practice. We talking about practice, the ball hogging and all this. We'll take all that as long as you're averaging 27 points a game. You're doing that.
LeBron just didn't want the competition at point guard. Let's be honest. You got him out of there.
Well, maybe he's seen his practice habits and all the other stuff that goes along with them and said, "This isn't conducive to winning titles, and my legacy's on the line coming here. So get him the fuck out of here."
Exactly, Joe. Exactly. That is what kept him coming. Not because that said he's better. It's because of that right there. What you just said.
You
said, Joe.
I'm on this other side.
This way.
But yeah, what I just said is everything that comes along with that, and that meant LeVar, who's talking shit about LeBron, and LeBron gave him a year to get his act together, and at that point he was like, "I'm done."
Bye-bye.
Did he get his act together, though? That's the thing. Did you get your act together?
He looks a lot better. He's shooting now.
Well, he wasn't shooting in the bubble. I mean, his numbers were historically bad in the bubble.
They weren't good in the bubble, but you can't go by a very small sample size. The year he looked a lot better.
They were not good in the bubble, man. I don't know if I still have it on my phone, but if I pull it up, he did not have good numbers in the bubble whatsoever. If you can play, we gonna mess with you. That's why Andrew Bynum, with his bad knees, was given a couple extra chances because teams were hoping maybe if he gets right with us, he can still ball. That's why when Ilgauskas, they stuck with him because once he got healthy, he balled. If you can play, we gonna work with you. But once you show us you can't play.
Well, I also think I think Woj reported it, either Woj or Shams, or maybe Chris Haynes, one of the three, that the rumor was going around the bubble that Lonzo was disinterested. He looked like he didn't want to be there. He was just like, whatever, I just want to get the season over with. I mean, look, the bubble, this is what showed, like, I read Woj's Instagram post yesterday regarding Kobe, and I thought about it. And I agree with him. Kobe would have thrived in the bubble. This is the perfect environment for Kobe, for him to walk around with his peers, free, and all it is ball the entire time. The amount of shit talking and head games Kobe would have played with people would have been epic. In a way, it would have been cool to have the bubble around with Kobe because it's just all ball all the time. And someone gonna sit here and tell me Kobe wouldn't have had some fun in a bubble like that.
If Lord Pincus is still watching, he would know the exact reference, but Kobe would have been Taskmaster in the bubble. Taskmaster is a comic character that can steal your moves and your powers and all that. Okay, Kobe would have been there just standing in front of people, been like, all right, yeah, I got him. Yep, you're done.
I know,
Next
I
one.
know, I know what that's from. The Taskmaster. I'm trying.
He used to have a
what
shield and a sword. Marvel. It was a Avengers villain.
Okay, but there was another one. I think it was
Black Widow movie.
Yeah, it was on another. It was in another movie, and I think there too was on the regular show where they're like the Taskmaster's coming, and he was like going to take all their powers and use them against them or whatever. That's crazy.
Basically, he can copy your moves and use them against you. But that's what I would have saw to Kobe. Like the whole thing I was saying earlier about the sponge. He would have, if the bubble would have happened early in Kobe's career. Oh, nah, 7 championships. It'd have been over. There'd have been no argument, no talking, nothing. Kobe had rings on all his fingers.
As much as we want Kobe in the bubble, you know who probably needed the bubble? Shaq.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shaq needed a bubble. And look,
Yeah.
I know Shaq gets real sensitive when you talk about his work habits and not staying in shape, and he'll post pictures of him dunking on Aaron Williams, of all people. I get that. But, man, if you could put Shaq in the bubble in the offseason, and kept him from blowing up,
yeah, but let's be honest, Kalani. Why does he get so pissed off about it? Because he regrets it. That's the only reason he gets so mad, is because he is sensitive, because he regrets not putting that work in. Because when him and Kobe sat down and had that conversation, and Kobe said, "Oh my God, if you would have put the time in, I think we could have won 7 at whatever number he said."
That was one of the best things ever.
And you know what? The sick part about it is, Shaq is in better shape now than when he was towards the end of his career in the NBA, obviously. And the man could shoot. Like, you look at him messing around, he could actually hit a shot here and there now. And it's funny because, it just takes the practice. And if Shaq, he said it, he goes, I used to eat the cheeseburgers and drink beers and all this other stuff in the off season and this and that. Yeah, if he would have put that time in, he would have been, and he's in the argument, obviously, for one of the greatest big men ever. But I think he might have been one of the top 2.
Dude, if Shaq would have had that Kobe mentality, I'm being no bias here, no hate. I'm being honest. If Shaq would have had that mama mentality, Shaq might be in the conversation, like legitimately the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yeah,
like he probably would have had all the accomplishments to back it up, and the type of play that says, "Who would have stopped me? Who would have stopped me?"
Take Giannis, Shaq in the Lakers years, and Kristaps Porzingis, and put those 3 into one person. That's what you would have had with Shaq, with that mom mentality, the practicing, the shooting, all that. He would have been able to shoot, drive. Oh my God, unbelievable.
Where do you put Kobe in your all-time list? I mean, because I think he's the most polarizing guy. I mean, Kalani, you're like the only person I've ever met that doesn't have Jordan 1. And I get why you feel that way. Okay, that's fine. I'm not going to rehash Jordan and get you on a Jordan rant. But
I put Kobe right there with Jordan for the sole fact of he did it with one team. It's like, now granted, I'm biased to this, obviously, but it's the Derek Jeter thing. And this goes back to the whole Kobe passing away. I feel like to the East Coast, that would have been if it would have happened to Derek Jeter. That would have been the same thing to New York and the East Coast, was if that would have happened to Derek Jeter at that age. People would have felt the same way on that side. Because you got a guy that gave his heart and soul to his city. And that's, I mean, the whole walking on the court with the Achilles and all that, and all the crazy stuff that he did for LA. But to me, I'd say I'd put Kobe. Honestly, I think Kobe's in my top 5.
Number 3.
behind
Lebanon James, number 2. And Luau Sindor, number 1.
I would say Kobe's 3 for me, and that's behind Jordan and Kareem, in that order. Kareem, and I can make an argument that Kobe is even ahead of Kareem for me, because of the position he played and the amount of, like, he could play 3 positions legitimately, where Kareem would play that 5, and he was that's where he was at. But for the things that Kareem did, so Kobe was, I could have him at 3 or 2, but Jordan's to me is number 1. But after that, and I think, and then LeBron's in my 5, but LeBron's story is yet to be written. It's still being written, and I may be one of the few people that feel when it's all said and done, LeBron could very well become the greatest player of all time. There's certain things for me personally that I want to see happen with him, and I think that's part of the reason why he came to the Lakers, because he knew he had to do it in a stage like that. And but his greatness is still being written, where I think the others, I mean, obviously their books are closed and those chapters are passed on.
He wins a championship with the Lakers, and whether he does it this year, next year, whatever, but if he wins a title with 3 different teams, and obviously with the minutes, the points, only player top 10 in points, rebounds, assists, and whatnot, honestly, got no choice but to put him number one. The fact that since 15 years old, this kid was supposed to be the greatest of all time, and he's damn near lived up to it his entire year and his entire career since then. You got to put him number one to accomplish those kind of things and whatnot. So if he gets a 4th championship but with a 3rd team, automatically number one.
But I think my issue with that, and I know it's a team sport and whatnot, he can't. If you're making that argument, he can. If you make that argument, let's say they get to the finals and lose, there's no way he can ever be considered that.
Yeah, he can.
I don't, not with all them losses in the finals. It'd be about 500.
So if he wins another, let's say they lose this year, but he wins next year, you still get 4 rings
for me.
Okay?
For me.
And then you get that, and I get it, man. But okay, I mean, okay, so their losses. You really gonna count my first loss again with that Cavs team against the Spurs? Really? Iron Newell was my starting power forward, but that counts. Okay. Oh, then I got to take on 4 Hall of Famers. Well, 3. Draymond really ain't a Hall of Famer. He might get in, but whatever. I got to take on KD, Steph, and Clay because they wanted to form the mega powers to defeat me. Oh, and then I suffered 1 loss because Matthew Dellavedova and Timothy Mozgov had to replace my 2 best players. So I mean,
but
they all had to deal with good teams, though. They all had to deal with good teams.
They did, but he had I guarantee you, and I can find that picture somewhere. I guarantee every team LeBron James has lost to in the NBA Finals will beat every team Michael Jordan beat in the NBA Finals.
Okay, but you can't say, well, he lost to these teams, but Jordan's teams don't count. The teams that they beat don't count because that Sonics team had Hershey Hawkins, who was a damn good player, Peyton, the Hall of Famer, Sean Kemp, is he in the Hall of Fame? I'm not quite sure. No, he's not. Okay, I don't know off the top of my head. You look at that Trailblazer team was a damn good team. That Utah team was
Detroit.
Yeah, those.
I know it's not finals, but
the
still
teams they had to go through. Yeah, I mean, then those Knicks teams. I mean.
Not to mention the elbows and the punches and the knees in the chest and kicking the balls and
the Knicks team with one guy that can make a shot outside the free throw line.
Yeah, but LeBron might not have made as many finals or done that in that era with getting the shit kicked out of him either, though.
Well, hold on. Well, one, Joe, I just looked it up. Sean Kemp is not in the Hall of Fame, at least not yet. Maybe he gets in there some point. And 2. We don't know that simply because if you grew up playing in that era, you grew up your whole life playing that style. So
no, but that's what I'm saying though about you can't compare the era thing though. That's the biggest argument.
Well, Jordan didn't win when he was getting kicked and punched. It wasn't
because them bad boy Pistons, son, they would come in there and Matthew Dellavedova would have been like, I want to go home.
No, but I'm just saying.
Kyrie would have got hurt.
Yeah, Kyrie would have been like, the earth's round, stop hitting me.
Kevin Love would have had a depressive episode and dipped out for a little bit.
He'd be saying the earth is round, and the Pistons would be like, what the hell is he talking about? What's he talking about? Robin would be like this, hey, man, when we going to party? You know what I'm saying? But
Kevin Love, I can't stand this pressure.
The logo, and he's got like 27 finals losses, and he's the logo. So, for me, it's hard for me to use
all time.
No, but he's still the logo. I mean, right there, they just passed half court. That's the logo, unofficially. But to me, like you said, Joe, it's a team sport. It's really hard to judge success off of a team sport just off wins and losses. So much goes into that. It's like, okay, so is Karl Malone and Charles Barkley not great players because they never won? But these guys who did are? No. but it's a team sport. If this was boxing, MMA, track and field, a singular sport, that all comes into play. In a team sport, though, that's one of the things I love about baseball. Baseball doesn't look at your World Series titles. It helps, but if you don't have them, we're not going to hold that against you. Were you a great player? And were you possibly one of the best? Yes, you were. For us to hold, and here's the funny thing: we only hold those losses against LeBron. We don't hold it against nobody else.
That's not true.
Hold it against nobody else.
I don't look at. I
I'm
love
talking about
LeBron.
you, John. I'm talking about in general.
But I can only speak for myself, Kalani, and that's why my point is. And at the end of the day, even in football, you can look at quarterbacks, right? Everybody say Montana or Brady or Elway, but give me Marino. He was the best passer out of all of them. Honestly.
What about what's his face for the Bills going to 4 Super Bowls? You don't want to count losses. I mean, shit.
I mean, well, yeah, but I mean, but I look at Marino and what he had around him. For instance, I mean, he was throwing for 5 Gs and 40 touchdowns in the 80s. I mean, he had Clayton and Duper, but they were okay receivers, but they weren't like Hall of Famers. But the defense is. But the defenses back then, I mean, you're going against Ronnie Lott and Darryl Green and Dion and some of these other guys that you're looking at, like Rod Woodson. Like, this is some of the greatest DBs ever, and you're still throwing for 350, 400 against them and 4 touchdowns. But he's never brought up in it because he didn't when he went to the 1 Super Bowl and lost. And I get the LeBron argument. I really do. LeBron, from a physical standpoint, I've never seen someone like him. He is the greatest probably athlete overall to ever play in the NBA. He was bigger, faster, stronger, could jump higher. His IQ, he's so unselfish. He's everything. If God put together a player, it would be LeBron. Other than he's got to hit more free throws. But for the most part, that's LeBron is that guy. But I'm not going to move the pendulum because Jordan played in the 90s and the way they play, that style of play is different than this. I talking to Jamal Crawford a couple of years ago, I asked him, I said, Jamal, what would Jordan average at? He's like 50. Easy.
Yeah, okay.
50. No, hey.
Hand checking.
He said Jordan,
punching.
he goes
He'd
put 40 up at the free throw line, dude.
Yeah, because he get every single call. You would get 3 fouls during the introductions. They would literally say, and your starting lineup, foul on you, and you. You were not allowed to touch Michael Jordan. Joe, don't do that. There is footage of
they
a referee.
Punched him, dude. Did you not watch that fucking documentary?
No, did you watch it? No, there is footage of a referee saying, I did. First off, that happened in like 88. That did not happen throughout the 90s. Okay, so you guys need to stop using 88 as in 87.
Those Knicks teams were like that.
Through the 90s, they were.
Those Knicks teams weren't shit. They didn't win anything.
They still beat him up, though. They still wore him out.
They didn't do a damn thing. Okay, all they did was suck on his balls while he was going up there. And the only reason they ever get they get recognition is because they played in New York. If they were in New Jersey, we wouldn't be talking shit about them.
They photoshopped Kalani out of that.
They actually have footage of a referee telling Michael Jordan, I do not know if that was a foul, but since you said it was, Jordan, I believe you. I'm going to go with that on there.
And you don't think LeBron
in the end of his career on the Wizards,
dude? You don't think LeBron gets those same calls? LeBron will go, hey, also foul. Kalani in Las Vegas and LeBron's playing in LA. LeBron gets those calls too. When you're the best at what you do, they're gonna give you that because you are the best at what you do. You don't think that Aaron Rodgers, that's a good example too. Aaron Rodgers walking up to her, hey man, watch him because after I release the ball, he takes like a step and a half, and he hits me. 2 plays later, he gets a flag. That doesn't carry any weight. No,
crybabies. Jordan was never called that. They get called crybabies. Learn to play the game. When Jordan does it, look at Michael Jordan, little game and shit there. He's getting the rest head. Let him know, hey, watch out for that. That's just Jordan knowing how to play the game. When other guys do it, hey man, what are you doing? Learn how to play the game correctly. Start crying. It's a double standard. If he does something, totally fine. It's within the realm of things. If these guys do it, oh, what are you guys doing? You're ruining the game. It's a double standard. You say
Okay.
we move the goalpost. You guys constantly move the goalpost for Michael Jordan.
I don't. Steph
No.
doesn't get the call, Sean.
You just did.
I
You
did it.
just
I'm bringing up facts. I'm bringing up what I'm telling you.
It doesn't matter when you're talking about Jordan. There's no such thing.
Okay, we're gonna get off Jordan because I'm tired of Kalani yelling in my ear about Jordan. It's loud with headphones on. It's really.
As you can see, man, I'm very passionate about telling the truth to y'all.
Hatred.
Hopefully one day the gospel gets to you guys, and you guys see like Rich has already had some moments where the light was starting to shine on him. Okay, so all
then Rich went back and watched like a 19
after 3 hours of this. Yeah. You start to think shit. It's like torture.
Rich goes and watches like a 94, 93, 94 Bulls Knicks game and sees Jordan hitting for like 57 or
beating
47
the shit out of my team
and like dunking on Oakley and Ewing while getting kicked in the balls and John Stark scratching at his eyelids. And whatnot,
those are some fantastic players, man. When we talk all-time greats, those are names we always talk about.
Ewing, yes, Oakley. I'm telling you,
top 10 when we talk about centers. Okay, he doesn't even come up as top 10. So yeah, he doesn't.
Because he won 8 championships. And it circles back around.
Literally for me now.
And who stopped them from winning championships?
Fucking Bulls. Fuck the Bulls.
Who stopped Barkley from winning championships? And I'm just saying, like Malone and Stockton. I mean, he knocked a lot of his teams knocked a lot of motherfuckers out from winning titles. You know, it's just what it is.
Yeah, they did. Well, it's easy when the NBA protects you the entire time and make sure that that they make sure that you win everything and whatnot. And guess what? It wasn't just Michael Jordan, guys. It was a whole lot of other players on that team.
I said
this is what I'm talking about.
I said his teams. I didn't say him. I said his teams. His team.
No. You said his teams, but what we talking about? We talking about Michael Jordan right now, right? Well, who did this? Michael Jordan. Who did that? Michael Jordan. Guess what? It was a whole lot of other players on there.
LeBron's guys have lost him a lot of finals then.
LeBron's lost to a lot of teams that would beat on Michael Jordan's teams that he played in the finals.
And if I remember right, in that game 7, Kyrie's the one hitting clinching shots.
If I remember right, LeBron was the one that made the block and also scored 40 points. So come on,
he did, but it came down to that shot though, and
but it also came down to that block too. Because if he doesn't make that block, they go up. That 3 wouldn't have mattered. See, we like to
goaltending. Goaltending, you mean that they gave him?
Because we like to nitpick. Because if Kyrie makes a shot, we say, "Oh, Kyrie did it," and that's what happened. But when John Paxson makes a shot or Steve Kerr makes a shot, oh well, that's just how the game goes.
Okay,
right?
Or when LeBron gets goaltending and they don't call it because it's LeBron and it's the finals.
It wasn't goaltending though.
Debatable.
It wasn't. No, it's not debatable. Every replay shows that was not goaltending whatsoever. But when somebody else makes a shot for LeBron, it's because of them they won. But didn't we just watch a documentary where there some other guys who looked a little different? Number 23 making last
second
shot.
You just moved the goalpost.
It means you all of a sudden, right?
You moved the goalpost on that though, right there, because you just moved the goalpost on that right there, because you're talking about Jordan not hitting shots and things. But if Jordan doesn't make plays, make the pass, whatever, then then Paxson don't hit those shots, or his teammates don't hit those shots. So, I mean, it's just
what that shot that Paxson made against the Suns. Jordan, there was 3 passes before Paxson got it. Jordan didn't make any of those passes, but yet no one says anything. Well, Paxson made it, so that's why they won. But when Kyrie does it, LeBron would have won if it wasn't Kyrie. So really, it was all about Kyrie. No, it's a team sport. But yeah, you guys kind of want to. Here's the goalpost. Here's LeBron. Here's for Michael.
No.
All the time. All the freaking time. No, all the time.
Oh, you see this?
God. This is like when I used to mess with my social studies teacher to let them not teach the class and just yell at us for 40 minutes.
That's kind of what we're doing with you right now. We're texting each other. Keep it going. Keep it going.
We've just been fucking, dude. I don't even think that was a goaltending. I argue that all the time. I just wanted to get you rolling. I texted Joe and I'm busting his balls. Oh, that was good. I was like, we got to keep him going. Oh, man, that's funny shit. Hey, I really don't, though. I really don't.
When I go to the doctor, they tell me I got high blood pressure. I'm going to tell them why. Are y'all some assholes?
Yeah, I get into that argument all the time. I'm like, look at the fucking replay. It's not goddamn goaltending. That's why when you said it, I'm dying. Because I'm like, oh, I know it's not goaltending. I got to get him rolling, though.
Oh shit!
That's good stuff. That's funny right there.
Oh my god! It's like we're punching you. Hey, so this past Saturday, there's a big UFC fight.
Oh fuck it! That's like you guys having $100 bill on a wire, and every time I try to pick it up, move it back, move it back, move it back, move it back. That's my asshole, man.
That's good though. That's really good.
This past Saturday's UFC Fight Night on ESPN, there was some action.
Dude, that Edgar fight! Oh my god, bro! I got to watch that.
Like there was some like some heavy action, and then the pictures that I know it's up. We put them up on franchise in your recap. My god. Like you're seeing faces that are distorted. It looked lovely. Actually,
there was some phenomenal fights that night. I actually, we switched up and I actually threw a different provider on and I got that the Knights game. Got to watch the Lakers game, so I'm good on games now. But that fight all the fights leading up to that were phenomenal. The women's fights were phenomenal, but that Edgar fight, man, that was unbelievable. And especially seeing Frankie do that at 38?
Yeah.
That was just next level, man. Yeah. To see them go the whole bout. And those dudes were messed up. There were so many times I was like, the fight's over. And I can't remember what was the other guy's name that Frankie Edgar fought? I apologize. I can't remember his name. He had a phenomenal fight. But let me tell you what, that dude, if I was Frankie Edgar after the fight, if I didn't win, I would have looked at them and been like, listen, what do you want me to do? 30 of those punches would have knocked out every other guy. Well, I don't know what you want me to tell me. The dude's just not going down. He's got a chin like a Volkswagen or a Buick or something. The dude just wouldn't. He was just taking hit after hit after hit. That was a phenomenal fight, though.
No, when you look at it and you look at where Edgar was coming down to a new weight class at 38 years old, suffering 3 losses in his last 4 bouts. You kind of, you kind of wonder like how much thread does this guy have left on the tires? He's taking on Moonhouse, who his last bout was a loss, but he was on a win streak before that, and he's deadly, and he's 32, so he's like in his prime. So you're like, okay, are we setting up Frankie Edgar to be fed to the wolf here, or is he going to show? Nah, man, I'm a swim. I'm not sinking. And, having all the heart that he's got, man, Edgar showed that, I still got some fight left in me. It was tremendously well-crafted how they went about it, because if you saw those leg kicks Moonhouse was landing, it really slowed Edgar down from moving, and it got points where when Moonhouse would throw leg kicks, Edgar was very much so respecting it by either trying to check it or completely run or dodge out the way, and it really limited some of his movement, but he just kept chucking along, bouncing in and out, hitting him with combos on the inside. Didn't try too many takedowns, and I think that's because he knew that getting a takedown Moonhouse, unless perfectly timed, would have been it would have took too much energy from him, and he needed every last ounce to be able to withstand this dude's onslaught. One thing about Moonhouse, you guys saw for 5 rounds, he constantly stayed going forward. He's done it in previous bouts, but he was never in a 5-round main event. So everyone kind of wondered, can he have the cardio to do that over 25 minutes? And he showed without doubt, yes, he can. It was a tremendous fight.
That was actually my biggest thing about that fight was, one, you saw all those leg kicks, and I used to train, man. Those things hurt after a while, and you saw by the 5th round, Frankie was like, no, I'm good. Don't do that shit again.
By the third round, he was doing that. Come on, man, stop. Come on.
Yeah, like quit it. But to me, like you said, I kept saying in the beginning of the fight, Frankie needed to move forward. He needed to push. Even if he had to turn, switch sides, and get on the other side and start backing into the ring a little and then push a little, he didn't push in that fight. And that was my only fear when it came down to the scores, was they were going to give it in favor of Munoz because Edgar just did not push. And if he would have pushed more, I think it would have been sided a little heavier in his favor. I don't think it would, because what was it? It was 2-1, right?
Yeah. It was extremely. It was extremely close. One scorecard it didn't have it, but the other two scorecards were 48-47. So it literally could have went one way or the other. And you're right. If Edgar pushes forward more, because I felt like that too. Towards the end of the fourth, I was like, man, unless Edgar lands some bombs, the ring aggression, which is coming forward, is going to favor Moonhouse by like 24 minutes, so that might get him.
And it started from the first round out. It started immediately in the fight. It didn't take long.
No. That's his game style, is that he comes forward because he knows he's got heavy hands and he knows he's very good on the ground with submissions. So he's not afraid to throw shots with you, but he's also not afraid if you take him down. But see, Edgar's never really been a forward kind of guy. He can come in and out on you, but he's more so, let me move around, let me pick my shots, let me find openings. And if I could tag you at will, then okay, I'll sit down on my punches a little more. Or if I could catch you off guard, I'm going to get you with a takedown. But he's never really a push forward kind of guy. So, at this stage in his career, you got to wonder, with those type of adjustments, it might just be muscle memory for him to resort back to what he normally does throughout his entire career. But those two put on a terrific performance. And like I said in my recap, obviously Edgar can move forward with a very good win. But I don't think for Munoz, this is going to hurt his chances of moving up the ladder so much, simply because he put on such a good performance. 135 is stacked. You can honestly make an argument that 8 to 9 guys out of the top 10 are all title challenge worthy within a fight or two. So that's how stacked it is. But I think Moonhouse is going to bounce back pretty well from that. And you know what? This card wasn't electric from name value, but for the fights we did have, hey, man, that's why sometimes you just got to tune in and just give it a shot, because you never know what you're going to see. Because outside the main event, we got some pretty good damn performances there. And
all of those fights were better than some cards I've bought on pay-per-view, honestly. Not even being funny. Yeah, all of those fights.
What happened with the one with, was it Oliver St. Pierre? So it
was Ovin St. Preux.
That's what it is.
Was supposed to be in the main event against Alonzo Menefield. And what happened was, going into these fights, these fighters get tested constantly. I believe you get tested once you get to the fight location. It was here in Las Vegas. You get tested once you get there. And I want to say you get tested either every day or every other day. Then you get tested the day of the weigh-ins and after the weigh-ins. Well, he tested positive for his last COVID test going into the fight. So they pulled the card. They pulled that fight because they couldn't, you don't really get a replacement to fight on days' notice. But he passed the ones earlier in the week. So, sometimes it can be a false positive read. But with that, the UFC is very much been on the forefront on the side of caution. They pulled it from the card. It's been rescheduled for a later date in September. I got to look it up to see exactly when. But those two will fight just at a later date. And it was unfortunate because, that was one of those fights that you was kind of looking forward to. These was two guys known for action. Alonzo's a little bit younger. You're definitely seeing, okay, is this guy ready to take the next step? Or is OSP saying, not so fast, young man. But you know what? The replacement co-main event we got, another light heavyweight bout between Mike Rodriguez and Marcin. Yep, against him.
That guy, yep.
It was a tremendous performance, man, because Rodriguez got him in the clinch, threw some knees. And I like what he said in the post-fight. He hit him with some knees and knew he hurt him. So if you look at the replay, you see Marceau, he's trying to block the knees, and that's when he comes over with the left and just nails it flush. And, I know sometimes it doesn't always happen exactly like that, but that's why you see fighters try to do certain moves because they're trying to set something up. You see it in boxing all the time. I'm trying to do this to get them to react or to get them to react to that so that when I fake it, I come with the counter, and that's why I'm really looking to get you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Here it worked to perfection. And Mike Rodriguez certainly looks like somebody to be taken seriously at 205 pounds.
Okay, so not to change subjects, I want to stay on the spot. I just got a text come in. Results of the MRI on Damian Lillard's right knee are inconclusive, so they're going to do another one Tuesday afternoon. Chris Haynes now just tweeted that out. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, for real. I watched the fight.
Well, I think Joe cut out there for a minute.
Uh-oh. Well, you know what? He watched the fight and he remembered, one of the guys that sets up the range, he went to school with him. So I had that conversation. So he knew the circumference of, I'm just messing with him. Yeah, I don't know if he can hear us and he's frozen. I'm just messing with him though. But no, man, real quick, I wanted to bring this up just because it's worth noting. Let me bring it back up because I want to make sure I say their names correctly. I'm gonna have to go back and look it up. But there was the female card on there. I think her name is Shayna Burgos. She became the second biggest upset in history since Holly Holm, not that Ronda Rousey. Holm at one point was I'm very bad at this betting stuff. I think she was a plus 830. Shane was a plus 810, 815, and she went in there and got the first round finish. So kudos to her for going out there and handling business. And somebody made some nice coin tonight. So again, it's not every time, but you tune into these fights, especially when something feels like it's in the air, and it just feels like with the undercard fight. Oh, wait a minute, you're noticing a trend here. Exciting finishes. Oh, snap. And it just kind of seems like the energy carries throughout the entire card.
And I think another thing a lot of people need to realize, too, is watching these fighters when they're young, I don't want to say younger, but younger in their career is so much more worth it than later on for a couple reasons to me. One, these guys have so much. It's kind of like college when players are going from college into the NFL or NBA or any pro sport for that matter. The hunger to get to make money versus making money is a lot different. And it's the same thing with these guys. They're hungry because they want to get to that spot. They want to put on a show for Dana and the fans and everybody else and let them know they're serious and this and that. So for them to make a statement in these fights is huge. So I always love watching these cards with some of these people. You might not know their name because to me, one of the first, and I love the guy as a fighter. I know there's a lot of controversy around him, but one of the first fights I got to watch of his was John Jones, where he hit the guy that was deaf. He lost that fight.
Man.
Yep. He scratched his nose, dick. But anyway, John, that was one of the first fights I got to watch him, fight in, and seeing his career pan out the way it did, and a lot of other guys like GSP watching him throughout, and BJ Penn, and the list goes on and on.
Spider-Man Silva,
Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman, who's actually from the town I used to live in. Matt Serra is actually, I got to train at his place in Huntington also. But all those guys, he's the man, dude. A little angry, dude.
I almost got into a fight with him.
You want to fight him?
No, I almost got into a fight with him. Yeah. No,
tell this story. Story time with cousin Kalani.
I say it, but it's so obviously being a fan of sports and whatnot, on Sirius XM, there's an MMA channel. Well, back in the day, a few years ago, they used to have an MMA show on there. I would call in, I would tweet this and that, and I got to know the host and whatnot. So when they came to Vegas for a show, I forget which card it was, but they came here for a show. They were like, hey, we're going to be doing shows. We're inviting fans down. They hit me up and said, hey, man, why don't you come on down? We go down, hang out. We're at the MGM at the Cowboy Bar. I'm not sure the name of it. We're in there, and I'm walking with a lady, and we come up, and and they introduce us. Hey, this is Ray Longo. This is Matt Serra. Me, I don't know who these guys are, so I'm like, oh, man, big fan. Hey, what's going on, guys? All right, playing it cool. This girl literally says to Matt Serra, I saw you in a show, and I think you're a fucking asshole. But she didn't mean it in like a really bad way, but she said that. My mind is now saying, we in a bar. We're all drinking. We're not hammered, but we're drinking. If he takes it the wrong way, this is a former UFC champion who beat Georges St. Pierre, one of the best grapplers in the world. There's nothing I can do. The best I can hope for is that I lean back, Hadouken, and that everyone just bum rushes us and he doesn't get to grab me. Because if he does, he's taking an arm from me. Kudos to him, and thank God he just played it cool and just said, I'm a bit of an asshole. And we just went from there. And ever since after that, I really try to crack a few jokes and say a few things to get the mind off of it. And I had to tell her, well, man, what the hell's your damn problem?
Go get me killed.
Like, he ain't gonna mess with you. He gonna be like, hey, yo, my man, it's your girl, me and you. And I'm like, well, I'm a man, I can't back down, but I'm a man who knows what you can do.
He's from New York, though, dude. That's probably the nicest thing he heard that day.
Yeah, for him, that was a compliment.
Exactly.
What was the name of the movie where Matthew McConaughey's like, all right, all right, all right?
Every Matthew McConaughey.
Okay. No, but I'm talking about
the original one.
The
with
original
the car
one.
and the high school.
Okay. Kalani was the dude in the movie that was like, I know what to do. I got 7 seconds. We're gonna push each other. We're gonna roll around. People are gonna pull us off of me. Ain't nobody gonna hit me. That was Kalani. He's like, I got 7 seconds. I got 5 seconds to like get one punch, and everybody's gonna come in and break it up.
Hey man, for real, man. That's like that. It happened in like less than 2 seconds. But in my mind, it was like 3 minutes of me just thinking, oh shit. Okay, so what I got to do is I got to hit him right there on that spot as hard as I can. Ain't gonna do nothing to him, but at least from a pride factor, I know what I'm gonna do. And hopefully, you grab me or grab him, and we just separate because it's a packed bar. So hopefully, everyone separates us. God forbid if they all form a circle and say fight to the death. I'm just gonna play dead and just go, yeah, I ain't doing that with Matt Serra. He ain't the one. But he was a real cool guy. Though. He was a real cool guy.
I got a story, but well, it's pretty funny. But I got a buddy.
My cousin Richie.
He's I can't really give up his name because he's still a professional athlete, but he's a very large fellow. And
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Both of you do.
Big boy.
Yeah. So we were out one night and we're hanging out and we're in the South and we're at a drag strip. So everybody can go out to the drag strip. They take all their cars out and there's a lot of Southern boys down there, big lifted trucks that like to drink. So my big friend cracked up a beer can because he's a big Southern gentleman himself and throws a beer can. Little did he know it hit some guy's brand new motorcycle. Well, this guy and a group of his buddies come over and they start talking shit to my buddy. And they're like, oh, who do you think you are? You fat ass, this, that, and the other thing. And he's sitting in the back of my friend's Dodge pickup. Well, he gets out of the truck. And this big 2500 Dodge goes like this, and he stands up, and he's about 1.5 feet taller than every guy there, built like a brick shit house. And these dudes go from "you fat son of a bitch" to "you big steroid taking mother," telling them off. So, long story short, they wound up following us that night and pulled a bunch of guns on us and stuff. Crazy night, but he wound up getting in their face and. Even with a gun, he was so big. They were like, I don't know. I think I'm good, actually.
I've heard a story or two about a recording artist. I'm not gonna say if it's hip hop or any other form that was touring in Europe, and a promoter tried to get away with like 70 grand and shorted them that 70 grand. They caught him the next morning and they were in like England or Ireland or something. Put him in the trunk of the car and took him to the field and got their money.
Hell yeah.
Yep. I think I heard the same story as well. And one day they might be on this show as a member of the Franchise Sports Media Group. I'm just kidding. I'm sure stuff like that has happened many times. Many times, you know, because look, there's some folks out there that regardless of what they do as a profession, they about that life. So you go ahead and cross them if you want to. I got 2 other stories about me almost fighting UFC fighters, but I'll say those for later days. But yeah, so far my record is 0-0-0-3.
The three of the three drinks he bought for each one of them.
No. Trust me, wasn't no drinks involved. Trust me, wasn't no drinks involved. It was just me getting my ass kicked 3 different times. It didn't work.
All right, so last question of the night. Well, did you guys see the Golden Knights win last night? 5-0.
Throw that 5-piece up.
But the big story was Alan Walsh, who is Marc-Andre Fleury's Fleury. Yeah, he's his agent. He tweeted out a photo of Fleury with the Golden Knight sword going through him, and on the sword says DeBoer. Okay, you're an agent. You gotta be smarter than that. You just signed a big deal that goes through 2022 or something like that to stay there. The reality is he's probably going to get traded or released this offseason because they're going to re-sign Robin Lerner. He's just a better goalie. The Golden Knights right now look like the best team in hockey. But what do you think about this? He took it down even though he left it up for like 24 hours. Chris Gallick wrote about it in the preview. Got the picture in there too, so screenshot it in there, so it's not going anywhere. What do you think about that situation? Because I know how I feel.
Fire my agent. I would fire my agent, and I would find a way to get out of that immediately, because that just says to me lack of confidence. Really? You're going to put that up there? You're not going to try and find ways to call me up and say, hey, buddy, we're going to work on this. We're going to do that. Let's get into this camp. Let's do whatever you can. I mean, I get it. It's in the playoffs right now where, hey, we're going to figure out a way to keep you on the team next year. No, you basically, you put a sword in your own player. Like, you're done, bro. Stick the fork in him. That's terrible. I would never. I mean, I'd leave that bubble, go in his office and kick his ass.
Could it maybe been a strategic move to ensure that my player is gone next season? Could it have been a move to say, I want to make sure you guys don't think, well, you know what, this guy might be a little bit better, but let's see if we can work something out. No, we're moving on. And like you said, Joe, it was up for. Generally, if you put something up that you don't want people to see, you try to get rid of it as fast as you can. A full day, that lets me know, no, I want you guys to see it. Then I'm going to do the proper, I'm sorry, this and that. I don't know how it works. I'm all thumbs and whatnot. I felt like maybe that's a strategic move to ensure that my player is able to have options come the offseason, whether it's because they feel confident that they could get something better on the market, or if they don't like the situation that they're currently in. And again, maybe the agent feels that way. Maybe he feels like, look, this team isn't going to have what's best in your interest. I can get something way better for you on the market, but they're talking about they want to keep you. You're talking about you like it here a little bit, maybe not a whole lot, but you kind of like it. We need to move on. So I'm kind of looking at it from that perspective. I think this agent knew what they were doing in a sense. It doesn't look good, but, when he signs a new contract and whatnot, and if he plays well for a new team, it'll be a back burner topic. So,
but who says he gets any more clients because of this either, though? Who wants to go play for a guy that's going to sit there and he ain't got your back? Well, I'm sorry, but Joe, you played. Isn't that kind of your freaking agent's job, is to have your damn back no matter what and do anything that's in your best case? I kind of agree with Kalani, but I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Marc-Andre has known this guy since he was 15 years old. This guy, he's considered, Marc-Andre Fleury considers him family. The agent's job is to have the players back first and foremost. But I think he did have his back. And in the sense where he thinks his client gives the Golden Knights the best chance to win the Stanley Cup. And that, yes, they have Lerner there, but he feels that the Flower is better than him and his client is better than him. And it may have been a private conversation. Like, I talk with you guys off the air. We talk about franchise business and it's and whatnot. And it becomes a, okay, we won't go public with anything. And then all of a sudden, let's say one of you guys tweet something out, publicly. And it's like, oh shit. You know what I mean? I don't think it was oh shit. I think it was calculated.
But context, how do you not put? That's the problem I think today with a lot of this is people want to put up a picture of, whatever, or a tweet saying something random, like years ago with Eric Bledsoe with the Suns, and he was like, "Oh, I hate it here," and they shipped him out, and he was like, "Oh, I was talking about the hair salon I was sitting in." Yeah, okay, dude. But it's the point of context. If you're going to post a picture like that, I almost think put under the bottom, like, how are you going to put a fork in my guy? Or, you know what I mean? Because
clearly he's saying that DeBoer backstabbed Fleury, putting the knife through the back with his name on it. That's what he's saying. And it may be that he feels that DeBoer should have kept the you play one game, you play two, he plays one, you play two type. But the reality is you're trying to win a Stanley Cup. It's the playoff time. It's go time. And to be very frank with people, Willie Ramirez tweet. We had a quick conversation about it yesterday on Twitter. Lerner gives the Golden Knights the best chance to win, and quite frankly, I commend DeBoer for pulling Fleury and sticking with Lerner because Gallant wouldn't have done it. He would have rode with Fleury till the wheels fell off, and we've seen what that happened last year. You see how that got them last year. And let's be real, the last year and a half, this season and then last season for the most part, there wasn't a lot of great goaltending play by Fleury. If we're going to be real about it, he wasn't the guy you're like, oh yeah, he's playing great. No, it's kind of like they probably need to get somebody. Is Malcolm Subban the guy? Are they going to trap the young kid? I personally, he's not going to fire the agent. But if I'm a team, I wouldn't want to deal with that agent because I don't know what the hell you're going to tweet out after that. I think that's where it's going to hurt his business.
Well,
more agent than play, or more teams than players.
Yeah,
that's very possible. But we've also seen when it comes to players, not so much agents, but that's because they're not necessarily in the spotlight so much. But we also seen, hey man, if you got the gift of gab and you know how to say the right words in the right way with the right tone, if teams feel like your player or your client is going to help them win, then they're going to try to give them a chance. We see it in every single aspect of sports. So, again, maybe he feels like, look, by doing this, I'll give my client a chance to go find employment elsewhere. Like you said, and Rich, you brought up, well, it might hinder him from getting other clients. It might, but then it also might help because what if this client goes up? What if he takes this one and go get them a good deal? Go get them a sweet deal. And then he can sit there and say, I got your back because I'll get you out of bad situations. I'll get you out of places where they don't want you. And I'll put you someplace where you're wanted, loved, and respected, and you get a chance to play. So I completely understand and agree with where you guys are coming from, but I can also see from the other side as well, where you're saying, in a sense, I do got my clients back. Just like we say, like you were saying, hey, look, man, we do like you, but you're not playing good right now. It's the postseason. We're trying to win. We need to go with this other guy right now. I'm also looking out for your best interest with Dame Lillard. It might behoove the coach to say, look, we love you, Dame, but with your injuries, we not going to win the title. So you might want to shut it down this year because God forbid if you hurt yourself even more. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, the agent might feel like he's looking out for his client by doing something like this. Again, if it works out in the offseason.
Man, it's funny you bring up the Blazers again because it's come out that the Clippers were discussing openly to Doc Rivers and other members of their team that they wanted the Blazers to play the Lakers because they thought the Blazers could win.
Well, a lot of people felt that way going in. A lot of people felt that the Blazers would give the Lakers a real tough go. And, to some degree, you got to say that didn't seem too far-fetched with what Damian Lillard was doing. McCollum was starting to show. Gary Trent, at one point in time, was leading the NBA bubble. I think in either 3 points made or 3-point percentage. Nurkic was healthy. Collins, I think he got injured early in the bubble. Yeah. So that was another big miss for them because if he was healthy, this would be a completely different series. And then Melo was starting to look like Melo once again. So I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, you guys really thought Memphis was going to beat us? No, the Blazers played well enough during those 8 games to show that they could be a problem for anybody there. The problem is, like we said at the beginning of the show, they poked the bear, and this bear is just a little too big and just a little too good for you guys to be doing that to. So we'll see how it goes going forward. But for this particular matchup, their arms are just too short to box with a god.
Hey, yo, Richie, this question's for you, brother. From Gus, did you see the Batman trailer?
Yes, I did, and I like the brutalness of Pattinson's Batman. I like the Batmobile. I'm actually really happy with it. I learned my lesson before the last couple about don't judge the actor before they play the character or before they put the cowl on.
What about you, Kalani?
I forgot.
You forgot?
I had my alarm set for the DC fandom. I had my alerts on. My dumb behind got caught up at work.
Man, you missed Suicide Squad. You missed what was the other one? Wonder Woman. The new Wonder Woman trailer was ridiculous too.
I heard about that one. I wasn't real big first Suicide Squad, but I'm gonna give the second one a try. But to me, the first one is just so hard to get through. But like you, Rich, you gotta definitely learn your lesson with Bale and Ben Affleck taking on the role. But I don't know, man. It's one of those things where with Robert Pattinson, it's just very hard to look at his catalog and have confidence in it. But from what I've heard,
not see him turn into sparkly vampire.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now, he's done some independent films that he's gotten a lot of praise for getting away from that. So that's good in the sense. And, one thing too, man, you get the right cast around you with the right script. Hey, man, it could be something special, especially with
Zoe Kravitz playing Catwoman.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have, which they didn't show in the trailer, but Colin Farrell is supposed to be playing the Penguin. I forget the dude that was playing Riddler too.
Her mama could be my Catwoman, man. I know I gotta beat up Jason Momoa.
Yeah, I was just saying, Aquaman gonna kick your ass.
That's all right.
0, 0, and 4.
Exactly. You already know. Add it to the list.
He's gonna think it's like a Super Bowl commercial. He's gonna walk up and punch him in the chest and expect to hit foam, and it's gonna be solid. He's gonna be like, "Shit."
Yeah. Hey, man, in the commercial. Yeah, that was commercial.
But no, I'm happy about it. The one thing I really want to see them do, I heard a rumor about, and I would be stoked to see the character actually finally make it to the big screen, but that's Clayface. If they actually bring Clayface onto the big screen, I would flip out. Funny enough, though, Dave Bautista, that plays Drax, and obviously is the wrestler.
Batista. My Spy is one of my favorite movies. I ain't gonna lie.
Dave Bautista, he actually went to Warner Brothers, to Matt Reeves, who's doing the Batman, and asked him if he could play Bane. There wasn't even a Bane character set up for the movie. He just went in there and was like, I want to play Bane.
Hey, he's a perfect Bane.
Which personally, there's some people I think out there that could play Bane that are really big. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there who play Bane.
So growing up for me, I loved Batman. Batman, Spider-Man, my favorite superheroes. Who do you guys think is the best Batman? That's played the best Batman. And you can't include Adam West in it.
All right. So if you're talking Batman, the quirky Batman, is Adam West. The technology Batman was Christian Bale. Your brooding Frank Miller Batman was your Batman v Superman Batman, because we didn't get to see the real Batman in Justice League. That was not Zack Snyder's movie. I don't even consider that a movie. That was like a long-ass movie trailer. The Zack Snyder Justice League cut that's going to release on HBO coming up is going to be unbelievable. It's going to be a 4-hour movie in 4 one-hour sections, which is so epic because he's going to be able to tell the whole story. None of this cutting scenes and shit, and it's going to be unbelievable. But to me, that Batman with Ben Affleck, that was the brute strength, your Frank Miller style Batman, the real, just old, done with the world, doesn't care anymore, is just going to beat the crap out of everybody and settle his problems and thinks he's a criminal at this point in his career. He's kind of lost his way. And then you see the Justice League start to bring that back with him. But I don't know if there's necessarily a best Batman. I think they're all different. And they all play different sides. And that goes back to me with the Joker. Every one of the Jokers was completely different. You had the anarchist. You had the psychopath. You had the gangster. And, you know, Jack Nicholson was the gangster Joker. Heath Ledger was the anarchist.
Well, you know,
Jared Leto was just the straight psychopath. Didn't care about anything. And then the great Cesar Romero.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I'm gonna have to go with Michael Keaton. To me, I felt like he's the best Batman because he embodied both, not just because he was the first one, because everyone outside George Clooney look. Val Kilmer actually did a decent job as Batman. Like, I know the movie wasn't great; he did an okay job as Batman. Not great, but I think Michael Keaton, because he embodied Bruce Wayne and Batman, to me, kind of the best. Where
Lonnie, you accidentally said the G word earlier, and I'm going to excuse that. But,
I mean, look, I understand. I understand how it goes, but you know what? Blame parents on that nonsense, because as the story goes, they wanted more kid-friendly stuff, and well, yeah, we see how that went.
No. The Batman Forever with the gentleman you mentioned that did that movie, I don't even consider that one of the Batman movies, because if you smile under that goddamn cowl, you're not Batman, damn it. Batman doesn't smile under the cowl. Sorry, that was my rant. I'm done.
Fair enough. I'm not going to knock you for that, but I like Michael Keaton in it because I felt like he embodied Bruce Wayne a lot better. Like, I get
he was
it.
Bruce Wayne. No, you're right. Val Kilmer had all of them. Like,
I feel like he embodied that a whole lot better, and I also like the fact that as Batman, you know, that imposing will that he had. You know, I understand that, you know, Bale was a lot better as a fighter, and Affleck was a lot more brutal. But I felt like with Michael Keaton doing it, it was kind of like what you wanted. Like, he was tough, but I ain't here trying to kill everybody. I'm just here trying to stop you, trying to help the cops out, do what I can. So I like Michael Keaton.
But I think he was, like you said, he was definitely the best Bruce Wayne. Where all the Batmans were different at different parts of the lore of the character, he played the best Bruce Wayne without a doubt.
What I would like to see them do with Batman and some of the characters is not get a guy in his 30s or 40s to play Bruce Wayne. Develop the character early on, like a 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old. And if you're going to do the Batman cinematic series, then go about it that way. Like, one of the things I liked about Iron Man, it was, you know, kids.
They need to do it the way Marvel did. That's exactly what you're saying.
Exactly. You take Robert Downey Jr. Forever, no matter you look at him in 16 Candles or other movies, he's forever going to be Tony Stark. You look at some of the other characters. They're like, yeah, this is who these. You don't have that, but again, now personally, I'm going to split it up. I'm going to kind of cheat on my own question. I think Michael Keaton was the best Bruce Wayne. And I don't even think it's close. Him as Bruce Wayne is the playboy, the funny dude. He kind of was serious. He fit Bruce Wayne to a T. I think for Batman though, and I didn't like Bale. As Bruce Wayne, I like him as Batman. You know, I thought, you know, other than, oh, go get him, Alfred. You know, like, dude, like, come on, dude, like.
That was all done post effect. First of all, a lot of people don't know that he actually spoke normal in the movie, and they did that after the fact. Where with Batfleck, as they like to say, they actually had a voice thing in there to make him sound different, so it wasn't just raspy. It sounded like he was using a voice modulator, like when you're trying to hide your voice.
Yeah, I
love that scene in the movie Neighbors where he goes, "Hey, I'm Batman. No, I'm Batman. No."
So
that was awesome, man. So I do that quite randomly at times.
We're actually going to see something really cool coming up. I follow a lot of the comic stuff, and the Flash movie that's going to be coming out that's got Ezra Miller. They're going to tap into the timeline, basically. So they're going to have Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck in the movie. So at some point, Ezra Miller is going to run back in time and see the old Batman. Which, if I ever hit the lottery, everybody that knows me knows this, but I'm going to put it on here so people know. So when I spend the money, nobody cares. I'm buying that original Batmobile, that Michael Keaton one. I'm finding one. I'm gonna have them build me one. Put a
You're
big
gonna-
old twin turbo motor in it. It's gonna be nuts.
He's gonna go down to Six Flags Magic Mountain and say, "Just give me this one off the Batman ride. Like, just give me that right there."
I was just gonna go find a frame and then put my own motor in it, and then just cruise up and down the strip and pick chicks up. That was my plan. Just pull up, open the glass, and just be like, "I'm Batman."
No.
No. I'm Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Just,
No, I'm Batman.
he's all, sorry, I bought my 3 friends Batmobiles too. I won a lot of money.
Oh man, that'll be. You know what? You know what? Let me ask you guys this, because Joe brought up a good point, and obviously we've seen that character kind of like the Spider-Man embodied by multiple actors. I'm not. We got to see what Robert Pattinson does. Is there an actor out there that you would like to see, if possible? Let's just say Robert Pattinson says, "You know what? I like it, but I'm done." Is there an actor out there that you would like to see take the mantle of the Cape Crusader?
2 guys, actually, funny enough, but one of them plays a different character already, so it would never work. And another guy almost got cast for the role in Christopher Nolan's movie and didn't. Jake Gyllenhaal was the one that didn't get cast in Nolan's movie, and I actually think he would have played all right. The dude that played in the last Spider-Man, Mysterio.
Yeah.
You know who Jake Gyllenhaal is, man? That's Jake.
Yeah.
That's JG, man.
Well, I think he could have done all right because some of his more serious movies, you could see where he could pull those aspects. But the other one, funny enough, and he already plays another DC character, but actually Henry Cavill, man. I think Henry Cavill could have done it. He's big. He's brooding. He's got the dark hair. He fits the chiseled chin and all that. I mean, I definitely think he could have been somebody that could have done it. But there's a lot of people that, through time, I think would have had a really good shot at it. Who's yours, Kalani?
My first pick would be Idris Elba. I know all the looks and everything, but I would like to see someone like him just because I like the cool factor that he brings, and he brings an imposing figure to the role, but also not overly intimidating. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Dave Bautista. But it'd be like, dude, how you supposed to hide in the crowd? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not supposed to know who Batman is. You're the biggest dude on set. We can figure that out. You know what I'm saying? But Idris could kind of fit that whole, I could kick ass in the bat suit, but then I could throw on a 3-piece Armani suit, and I could look cool as hell doing it. So someone like him, I would like to see take on the role as well. And then and a little trivia: the original Batman before Michael Keaton was going to be Bill Murray.
Did you say Bill Murray?
Yeah,
I did hear that.
They were going to go a comedy route with it.
Oh, God, thank God they didn't.
Because of the Adam West TV show, they were going to go the comedy route with it, and they were going to go with Bill Murray, who, as we all know, in the 80s is one of the all-time greats, but they were going to go with him. They weren't confident in Michael Keaton because he did Beetlejuice, so they didn't think that anyone would take him seriously because at that time, they thought he was only a comedic actor. So, shout out to Tim Miller for sticking with that.
The first name that popped in my head, and I know it would never happen, but I think would be really cool because it would be very different than what anybody's accustomed to. Actually, it's Michael B. Jordan.
Well, funny, I was thinking that, but they already were talking about setting him up to be the next Superman.
Yeah, but I hear that, but I really think Michael B. Jordan fits exactly what you would want. You want he'd be for me a younger guy that could grow with the role, that has the look of a guy that could be a billionaire, that is an accomplished actor within his own right. And he also, we see it in Creed, the guy can bulk up and be a badass. I think he's he's like the first guy that when you said it, it was like, when you asked, like, Michael B. Jordan would be that guy to me. But I don't think they would ever do it because, quite honestly, because he's black and they don't want to change that character.
But they're talking about doing it with the Superman, but there was a black Superman also, though.
Yeah, so that's the big question: is do they actually make him the Superman, or do they go with Val Zod, the black Superman, and go with that story? So it's it's crazy how attached we are to made up characters and what they have to look like. It's like, dude, they're made up. This ain't a biopic, but
but yeah, but I mean, I that's the first dude. I think I'd love to see something like that. I think that'd be cool because I think as Killmonger, he did a phenomenal job
Oh,
in
he
that
was
role.
to me. He was top 2 villain in the entire MCU.
I
And
agree.
The final scene in that movie was one of those like, holy shit.
I think that movie parallels a lot of things in life, Black Panther, and I think you're looking at in a way Killmonger and Malcolm X and and um and Black Panther uh, uh, as
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So I think you've seen a lot of things in there like that, but that's what I found interesting and about that. But I do think that, and I do think it would be a cool little flip if they did that. Who do you guys? Okay, Joker wise, who you guys got?
You know who I really want to see play the Joker, and you guys are gonna laugh at me, but I want to see an older Batman, like the Frank Miller style Batman, where he's actually an old man. Willem Dafoe.
Yes. Yes.
Willem Dafoe as the Joker would be a straight lunatic. Because you think about all the movies he's done and just crazy roles and stuff like that, and he'd be able to get into that character so fast. I was actually really happy with what Joaquin Phoenix did with that movie, with the Joker movie. That was unbelievable. But yeah, Willem Dafoe and an old man Joker.
That was a cool flick. It just I don't know. It's just something about it that just was like I liked what Heath Ledger did, and I wanted to see the dude says my name from Suicide Squad.
Jared Leto that they cut
Leto.
an hour of his movie out.
I want to see him more in that role because I think he would have been phenomenal in that role.
He was unbelievable.
So I would like to see him like retake that, really reclaim that role and run with it.
No, for sure. That's the unfortunate part when it comes to studios getting involved. And, I wish, I understand that they would have got criticized for copying it. But, dude, Marvel laid out the perfect game plan on how you do this, man. You guys should have just did the same thing. We see it in sports all the time. It's the copycat league. We got it. But if you guys would have went that route.
Yeah, but the problem was DC.
You guys would have worked out so much better. And we wouldn't be at this point where you guys are trying to restart stuff or recast stuff or whatnot. But my Joker would be if I'm going with Idris Elba as my Batman, I'm going with Jamie Foxx as my Joker. I think Jamie Foxx is one of the most underrated actors out there who can do multiple roles. I would love to see him in the role and see what he can do with it. I think he could do something great.
Matt, so you say Idris Elba, I said Michael B. Jordan. So it almost be like a reverse blackface, and it's almost like it. That yeah. I like where you're going with that. That could be a
Michael B. Jordan could be Nightwing, because Nightwing grows and does his own thing. So it could be Idris as Batman, Michael B. Jordan as Nightwing, and then obviously the spinoff where Nightwing does his own movie and whatnot. Your boy Jamie Foxx could be the Joker. Shoot, man, he's already done Batman. Well, I was gonna say Morgan Freeman could be Alfred, but he's already done it.
Sam's smoking crack, Sam's.
Forrest Whitaker could be Commissioner Gordon.
Samuel Jackson Jackson as Alfred. Batman, I told you to get this motherfucking car out this motherfucking car.
Denzel Washington as Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
You know how I want to see Denzel play? Two-Face. I want to see him as Harvey Dent. He doesn't do it often. But after watching Training Day, I want to put Denzel in another villain role, man. Because that was something. So I like to see him in something like that. And unfortunately, he made a lot of dumbass comments. But I was gonna say, shit, Terry Crews could have been the Batman. But Dwayne Johnson, why don't you come on over, bro, and put this mask on, and we'll do it like that.
No, Dwayne Johnson could be a good Batman, and I think that could cross.
He's too big.
Yeah, he's way too big to play Batman.
Like, come on,
like, bro, what the fuck do you do for a living? Power lift?
Hey, for real. Like, you see Bruce Wayne, and you're like, okay. And then you see Batman, you're like, okay, wait a minute. I know there ain't two big motherfuckers walking around thing. We know who the fuck you are. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying, well, Shaq could be Batman. No, you can't. Who the fuck else can walk around Gotham 7'3", 300 pounds? We know it's you, you big dumb.
Shit. Well, I don't know. Idris Elba's kind of grown. I mean, I like Michael B. Jordan. I think because the Joker to me has to be older than the Batman because he killed his parents. So he has to be older.
In one lore.
It could be somebody slightly younger, and they were a young thug trying to make a name for themselves. But I get what you're saying.
Not in every lore did Batman or did the Joker kill Batman's parents. There's a lot of different lores that it's another guy. It's Joe Cool in one of them.
What about
Wesley Snipes, the Riddler?
No, maybe.
I could see him doing that because I think of like what's it called? The one movie with Sylvester Stallone, that character he played, Demolition Man. That movie.
Phoenix.
Think about that kind of
Phoenix.
But you think about that, that's the Riddler, dude. You just flip it around a little bit, you got the Riddler. You just have to play a lunatic.
I know they're remaking that movie, but honestly, that original, to me, man, that's one of those where as time went on, you kind of look back at it and say, man, this was a good film. There were some things on it that was obviously corny because it was set in the 90s, but man, this is a good. You guys were on something here. It's just bad execution.
Yeah.
Funny they knew Taco Bell was going to make it all these years.
They were trying to tell us no matter what you do, you can't get rid of it.
Nope. They may not be making it too much longer.
Oh man, that's unfortunate.
Well, I'm not saying they're going out of business, but I know their sales took a drop once a report came out about a month and a half ago about who they support politically, how much money they gave.
Hey man, it's well, I tell you, this is like the only time where this type of stuff even matters. Like, I don't know about you guys because you know, Joe, you're a little bit older than me. I don't ever remember hearing about stuff like that, you know, in 2008 or in 2000 or whatever.
What kind of tacos you're gonna get? What kind of beans you're gonna buy? What kind of tires you're gonna buy?
Yeah, man.
Where you're gonna watch your news?
It's like, man, what happened? But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But you know what though? And I won't even say that.
That's you pick Trump income, Democrat, Republican.
Hey man, hey. I'm only moving so I can change my battery.
I don't know. I think
liberal.
No. Oh shit. Shit. I mean, look, I don't get into political talk. But I just thought when the Taco Bell thing I found that interesting.
Oh, so you pulling Michael Jordan out, huh? You ain't
no
talk, huh? Okay,
no.
You don't want to let
he owns Taco Bell.
You don't want people to know what your true color is.
Okay, I have no. Okay, if you follow my posts at all on any social media, you know damn well I'm not voting for Trump. So I mean, let's be real about that. And and you know how I run this. How I in part help run this company and what we empower you guys to do and to write about. So therefore, there is no doubt in my. I mean, but it's whatever. That's why I like sports more than politics, because in politics it's about winning. I like sports, but there's a lot of things that are just so dirty about it. And with sports, I mean, at least you're competing, and it's you somewhat have, at least on the field, you have for the most part honest competition.
Not a smear campaign.
Yeah, with politics.
At the end of the day, regardless of, oh, wait, is this a little callback? At the end of the day, regardless of what your dad said, regardless of what this reporter asked you, regardless of what this said, can you play? When we line up on the field, your team versus my team, who's going to win? And you know, that granted, there's politics in that, but it's not. It doesn't control the game and whatnot. And that is a beautiful thing about sports and whatnot. And that's what was kind of frustrating for Terrell Owens. Is like, dude, I get that I'm not the most likable person, but come on, guys, you guys are literally screwing me over here because you don't like me, even though all my numbers say I should be in. I know, Joe. I know you knew a guy that created the Hall of Fame.
No. It just hit me who I was thinking of if I wanted to play Batman.
What's
and
that?
it just Denzel Washington's son, the one that plays Ricky on Ballers and was in Black Klansman.
And he about to be in Tenet.
Yes, he's the one I would want to play Batman.
I think it's what, a John David Washington?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good choice. That's a real good choice. You know, and for some of our viewers, I don't know how they feel. There's quite a few young black men who can really do some phenomenal work. You got him. I'm so sorry for not remembering their names. The gentleman who played Martin Luther King in Selma, he's really good. He was also in Jack Reacher as the FBI guy. You got, I think his name is David Kuya, the actor from Get Out. Yep. He's very good. I didn't even fucking know he was really British. Holy shit. The other gentleman
from Star Wars.
Yeah.
John Boyega.
Yeah. John Boyega is another one. And then the skinny one. You guys remember the movie Get Out? He's a star of Sorry to Bother You, but in the movie Get Out, he was the skinny one that was like, you know, when he finally took the picture, he said, "Brother, get out. Come on." You guys remember him? He's the first guy to get. He's done some good films as well. He's done some pretty good roles as well. And he's growing. There's a lot of actors out there who I definitely hope get some bigger roles going forward, man, and keep building, because it's a lot of fun. You know who I'm disappointed I've never seen in a superhero film, but outside of his little cameo, Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Brad Pitt in one of those superhero films.
Shit, you make his hair black, and that was somebody that could have played Batman earlier in his career.
That's true.
Have him play Dr. Freeze.
Yeah, you know what though? That'd be cool. No pun intended. Nah, man, the best Mr. Freeze was Arnold Schwarzenegger with all those corny ass puns.
Freeze.
Hey everyone, chill.
Yeah,
winter is coming.
He was the best.
Oh, that's true. No, I agree with the actors. A lot of great young actors that have come out and that are in Hollywood now, that are finally getting the accolades that they deserve.
And I give a lot of credit actually to Marvel and some of these other companies creating these movies to create these roles for these young actors to be able to flourish in, because you got to give them the credit for that too, because we could sit here and say all day about who we'd like to see these people play in other roles that have been played by other people, but to be able to play these roles for the first time and make a name for yourself like that, that's almost bigger than taking over somebody else's role. It's been played by 9 other guys in every one of those roles we talked about, because that's about where the point it's at. Like you said about the Robert Downey Jr. thing, where it's almost who's ever going to get in, put the helmet on again, and you're going to go, that's Iron Man. You're not.
It's never going to happen.
And that's almost the problem with Superman and Batman and Spider-Man, is you've seen so many guys don the character that it's almost, it doesn't have the wow factor anymore when these guys go in there. You're just like, I hope they go in there and don't screw the character up.
Yeah, I mean,
but to see Marvel do that and open that up, that was awesome.
I'm like that with Spider-Man. I wish they would. Like, I like the kid they have playing now, Tom
Holland.
Yeah, Tom. I like him. I tell you, when I think of Superman, I think of Christopher Reeve. That's the first guy I think of. You know, when he did, you know, in the 80s. I mean, like the dude that played him has played him in the recent Marvel. But that's my problem with DC movies, though. DC movies, it takes forever for them to get to the plot. Like, they have to go through this. Marvel does a really good job of getting in, getting out. You know,
keeping your attention.
Yes, where DC is just.
And see, where DC messed up is DC saw what Marvel did, and they were like, that's going to take too long. We need to make money now. Let's do it the other way. Let's put all the heroes together in the beginning, and then we'll make all their solo movies, because everybody already knows all these freaking characters. We don't have to explain them. You know who Wonder Woman is. You know who the Flash is. You know who Aquaman, Cyborg, Batman, Superman. I mean, some people might not know Cyborg, but he is a big character in Teen Titans and all that other stuff.
I think younger kids know who.
The younger kids 100% know him. Older people don't.
Yeah, they know.
But the younger kids, every young kid knows Cyborg.
Yeah, but you know, like I said earlier, you know, the blueprint was laid for you. It's a copycat league in everything that we do with remaking movies and TV shows, and we see it in sports. They really should have just went that way, because one of the things that made those Avenger movies so big, it's like it's finally happened. The build up to it.
Yeah.
But you're telling me now that they're already together. You know, if you look at it, especially when you do it in the manner in which you it, it's so choppy and you're fumbling over so much stuff. It's like, wait, what? Wait, huh? And then you're not invested in it. You need to get us invested in it, like Joe was saying about telling the story. If you're going to mess these guys up, I need to be invested. We need to pick sides so that if they ever do break up, hey, you guys Team Iron Man or Team Captain America? You know what I'm saying? But when you put them all together right away, you can't get invested in anybody. So, I wasn't. But unfortunately, with the studios, they want to go off what's going to make money. Hence why we keep seeing new Supermans, new Batmans, and new Spider-Mans. Because those sell. If you try to put out a new character and it doesn't sell, well, then it's a failure. So then what do? You go back to the well on what works. So, you know,
but that's also why you saw movies like Suicide Squad fail, like Batman v Superman fail, like Justice League fail, because Zack Snyder had a vision, David Ayers had a vision, and the studios came in and went, oh, that's too dark. We want to be like Marvel. Well, do you want to tell the freaking story, or do you want to sell Marvel movies? Because we're not doing either.
I think Zack Snyder was the wrong guy to get for it, though. Like to be in charge of it.
No, he had a vision. They messed with it, man. That's like you writing a script and then me fucking with it and being like, "Oh, I don't know. He sucks as a writer." I'm
not saying any of that. I understand that they did. As I've said here, the studios are messing it up. But I think with what you want to do with those particular characters, I think with Zack Snyder. I don't know if he would have been the guy I want leading the charge. Kind of like he would have been one of my main directors for films, but I don't know if I want him in the Kevin Feige type role. I think he needed somebody over him. Like how Kevin Feige doesn't direct any movies, they needed somebody like that over Zack Snyder and the other ones, to where Zack can focus on what he has to do and make it his own thing in this particular realm. Instead of
he had a vision.
I know he had a vision. What I'm saying is, sometimes when you spread your wings too far, your vision is a little bit harder to see. Whereas, just like we see in sports, if the head coach can get the star player on board, it's much easier for me to get the other 11 guys on board as well because my star is in line. And to me, I feel like that's not more of a star as opposed to a head coach. And that's where I felt DC kind of messed up. They wanted the star to run the show instead of the head coach. And Marvel got a head coach with a bunch of stars.
Yeah, but Marvel did the right thing. Marvel went, okay, Kevin Feige's in charge. You guys make the movies. There's the idea. We're not going to mess with it. Zack Snyder, they gave him all the control. And then when he wrote everything out, they were like, all right, that's too dark. We don't want you to do that in Man of Steel. Then they get to Batman v Superman. Oh, that's way too dark. We don't want you to do that. Brighten the movie up and do this. Then you get to Justice League. They pulled the thing away. He cast Jason Momoa. He cast Gal Gadot. He cast The Flash, Batman, Superman. He cast all those characters. You wrote the story. And the problem is he had like an 8-movie vision planned, and they kept messing with it. By the time you got to 3, none of it looked right. Watchmen was supposed to tie into all of this. When the Midnight series comes in, the Doomsday Clock and all that, and Justice League. And he had all that ready, and they just kept messing with it. That's why you see now with this HBO thing, you're getting 4 one-hour clips instead of a hour and 40-minute movie. They would have made him cut it up too, because then the movie wouldn't have made sense. And that's where I have the problem with is if I agree with you, you're going to give a guy control, do it. But then don't step in after and say, well, we don't like what you did. Let him make the movie, and then when the 3 movies suck, then it's on him. Don't change it and then blame it on the guy, because really that's what they did to the poor guy. And then the whole thing with, and all the shit he went through too, man. Filming that. Nobody should have their movie chopped up like that, or their piece of art you're working on chopped up like that. And then the director that did is a piece of crap.
Well, that's why I said he's a star, but they should have got a head coach. They should have got a head coach, because you also got to think too. Sometimes when you have a vision, some people know how to articulate it a lot better. Joe might have a vision on a business model. He knows how to say it better than maybe one of us does, or vice versa, or whatever. Some people just know how to get you to see what they're.
But I think what I'm getting at is the problem is the head coach. DC would have told the head coach, "No, we don't like what you guys are doing." That's what I'm getting at.
So what you're saying is DC is James Dolan.
Yes, 120% DC is James Dolan.
Yeah, that's very easy to see right now. Until this new slate of movies come out, and if we see if they could turn it around, yeah, that's easy to see. But that's what I'm saying. If they would have got a better head coach in there, and again, I understand if we're doing James Dolan, it won't matter. But maybe if you get a certain head coach in there who can maybe finesse things a little bit, Zack Snyder's vision is more seen like, oh, we see what you're, because you got to think. With what they wanted to do, they were trying to get fast dollars. But if you could get that guy in there that can explain, no. If you guys try to do it too quickly, we're going to fail. But if you let what you guys are trying to do reach movie 3 or 4, that's when we're going to get everything because all these stories are going to connect. Then they could be like, oh, okay.
And that's
and again, I don't know how Zack Snyder likes to tell stories, but maybe the way he told them, you was kind of like when Will Smith says, "Old boy's talking about the Matrix," where it was just like, wait, what? I'm jumping in the air and I pause. What? But then it's like it makes sense. Maybe we just didn't explain it correctly.
And I think that's the issue is DC just needs to get their hands out of it. They need to find a group of people, trust them, and go, you guys do the job. We ain't going to say shit. We'll collect our checks when the ticket sales come in.
But that's my problem with a lot of these movies is, you know, like Enter the Spider-Verse was a dope ass movie to me. Like I know it was animated, like I thought it, you know, and everything from the soundtrack to the way I thought it was dope. But I think part of the problem for, let's say, okay, me, I'm a casual comic book fan. I'm not going to read or look at like all the different dimensions and this and that. Growing up, Joker killed Batman, his parents. And the other problem I have is don't kill the Joker off in a movie. Don't kill the Penguin off in a movie. Don't kill, like, they go to Arkham and they get locked up there, and that way they can break out and they can have another movie with them in it. Not like, oh, well, come with some elaborate bullshit reasoning to have them come back to life all of a sudden. Oh, they found this Nero spine fixer-upper thing, and he's able to, even though his back was broke, he, you know, and it penetrated something, he came back to life. Like, I think in a way, simplify it. Simplify it.
And I get into this argument with people all the time, man, because I'm not a casual fan. I am obviously a diehard hardcore fan. And I'm the opposite way. I'm like, screw the casual fan. Make the movie the way it's supposed to be made. Because here's one thing. So I'm, like I said, diehard fan. You guys have both seen the last Avengers movie, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. When Captain America grabbed the hammer, I stood up in the middle of the theater and screamed like a 7-year-old kid, dude, that just got a spaceship for his birthday, because I had been waiting so long to see that on screen. Just like the Infinity Gauntlet and Thanos and all that other stuff. There's so many little things they did in those movies that were so that you would never even know, you'd never even catch, you'd have no idea what it was from, why they did it, any of that. But so much important stuff, like Captain America when he's beaten down on the ground. A lot of people don't notice it, but when his suit's ripped up, you could see the original chainmail suit from the original comics where he wears the like fish scales. That's under that suit. But there's a ton of shit like that was hidden in those movies that I love that they put it there. But the problem is the casual fan doesn't see it. They don't understand it, and they think it's pointless or it's stupid or why'd they put that in the movie? That's not important.
But I personally.
Yeah, that's why you have YouTube now with so many people who break the Easter eggs down and explain it. I've literally have gone after every single Marvel movie and watched a couple of different videos.
Just call me, bro.
Huh?
I said, just call me, bro.
Well,
that's what my friends go to the movies with me. I'm like, hey, that's from.
Well, this was before all that.
I'm joking.
No, I got you, man. But no, I get it. You definitely want to find a happy medium. You want to do things where the hardcore fans are going to be thrilled, and you also want to do things that are going to bring in casual fans. I just think that if you're going to do it, and again, not trying to pat Marvel on the back in every way, but you know, you got to look at what they've done. They've done it in a good way. In every movie, they had humor, they had pretty good storytelling. Even in the ones that weren't good, the story was still kind of good. Maybe the execution wasn't that bad. good action, and for the most part, you don't necessarily feel too lost in where they're trying to go with the general census of the story. Yeah, maybe a storyline here or there. You're kind of like, wait, what? But for the overall part, we kind of know what's going on. Like you said, with the Captain America thing, there was a build-up to that because Captain was the only one that could move it in the second Avengers. So they already planted the seed there, and then they totally forgot about it. We're just going to let it go. And then when it comes back, like you said, everyone's like, oh, the casual fans are freaking shocked. The hardcore fans are like, fuck yeah. So for DC, and look, I would love it if Warner Brothers sold it to Disney and just let them do it since they seem to do it right. Obviously, I know that won't happen, but I just wish they would just take your time.
I'm gonna grab something real quick. I'm gonna mute my mic, but I'm gonna grab something to show you guys since we're on the subject that you really appreciate. Both of you would.
Okay, and I think for me, there is a way that you can go about it. You can add put something casually in there for hardcore fans like Rich, and you can also, it could be something so subtle that a casual fan like myself would be like, oh, that's pretty cool, or not catch it, and then come back like, oh shit, that's what that was. Because like I'll go to what my son, God rest his soul, we're talking about Robin, and he was like, well, there's like 15 different Robins, Dad. There's this guy and that guy. And I'm like, no, dude, it's Dick Grayson. Like, that's what it is, bro. Like, Dick Grayson's was from a family of people that worked in carnival people, and they were acrobats, and they died tragically, and he was an orphan, and Bruce Wayne brought him in. Like, that's just what it is. Nah, Dad, this is what happened here. And I'll sit there.
Well, the thing is too, though, that the story continues though after that. He finds these other kids. So, and I mean, that's the other thing. It depends on which one you're looking at. But really quick, show and tell time. This is actually something pretty sweet that I have.
Pull it in front of you, man, because we can't see the whole thing.
I am. I'm taking it in slow. It is Marvel versus DC. So you got Iron Man versus Green Lantern, Thor versus Superman, Cap versus Batman, and then the Hulk versus Wonder Woman. And what's funny is this was actually the original idea of the tattoo I was going to do, but then I decided just to do good and evil instead.
That's pretty badass right there, man. You know, that's one of those where we'll never see it on the big screen, but man, that's one of those where you always debate who would win in a fight. DC starting 5 against Marvel starting 5.
Man, you talk about, you want to see somebody freak out, dude? I'd be camping out in front of a theater. I would lose my mind to see that on the big screen. DC versus Marvel.
Who would you dress up as?
I wouldn't even have time to dress up. The day they announced it, I'd be tenting outside.
I think if you're going to be out there tenting, you have to be a different character every day.
Yeah,
it's a lot of wardrobe, man. I've gone as the Joker a couple of times. It's a lot of work. Joker is a lot of work.
Just get a bunch of T-shirts then, if that's the case. You know, that way you don't necessarily have to do full costumes, but every day you wear a different T-shirt.
That would be cool. I actually used to work for a Halloween company back in the day, and I had a legitimate used to wear them to all these crazy parties and stuff we'd get invited to, but I had a legitimate Batman and a Robin costume, and each one of these things were like $700-800. I didn't pay for them. I got them for free because I worked at the place. But dude, when I say legit, like full latex, fucking hood, the whole nine, man, they were nuts.
I could see Rich literally parked out in front of Red Rock every day waiting inside the casino.
Hell yeah. If they released that, it'd be over, bro. It'd be over.
Yeah, you have to talk to somebody that'll let them know what you're doing. Otherwise, they're gonna be like, sir, you know, if you're not playing, you can't just stay here multiple days on the floor. We're gonna need you to get a room or to come back tomorrow.
I have clown business that supersedes any previous business you had with this here casino, sir.
No, that's true.
That's
true.
Shit.
Guys, it's after 12 o'clock, man.
Yeah, we about to get out of here. I was looking at the time. We got busy days tomorrow. Folks, we want to thank you for joining After Dark tonight on Franchise Sports Media. Give us a follow. across all social media platforms at the Franchise LV. That's Kalani Lua. That's Rich the Christian. I'm Joe Arrigo. Appreciate you guys joining us. And hey, why not tomorrow when you wake up? Why not be the day that we arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor? I'm just saying it'd be a good thing to have, put it out
Word.
there into the world, in the universe.
Truth.
Have a good one, folks. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.